Miss Alicia, let's do it.
All right, we're going to start with.
Tell me some good news.
We have some good news. The Ag Center is, I would say, everything's almost complete, like 98%. We're just waiting on the flooring there. So once we get the flooring and the windows, we'll be
Flooring where? And is it in the?
throughout everything, other than what we've already done in the
Okay,
auditorium, but all new flooring.
Good.
So,
Good deal.
We're almost there.
How are we looking on budget?
We have about 69,000 left. That we have plans for some of it, but not all
Plans.
of it.
No, thank you. Have a good day.
Oh, I thought he said no.
He canceled
He
that
don't like
quick.
he don't like giving money back, so he said no.
Oh yeah, no, we don't want to give any
I'd
money
like to know
back
if I could go ahead and
either.
book a meeting with our CEO next Tuesday. No. Solicitation, no. Sorry. I thought
you're
it was
fine.
important.
Okay, let's go with your budget.
So we're looking at the extension office.
Which
We can
one?
switch to Ag Center.
Nope, I can switch. Not flexible.
I already typed it in.
There we are.
There we go.
So I think most of the increases are related to salaries there due to the
Review this summary first.
proposed increase. Most everything else has stayed the same, other than we are asking for a new vehicle to replace our 2017 minivan. And we thought maybe we could transfer that van to animal control for the PetSmart adoption transportations, because it's still, I think it has 86 mileage, 8,000 miles on it. So it's not high mileage, but it's just getting old and it's just not reliable for us to take it very far. But
As a person who drove it to Tallahassee, I concur. I was
Yeah.
actually scared.
and the last time somebody took it to a conference, she got stuck on the side of the road and barely made it to
Well, I
her
would
presentation.
recommend
So
if we replace it, we replace it.
We
yeah.
replace, and that means you get rid.
Get rid of it.
Okay.
Miss,
Not cascade another problem to somebody else.
But
I missed the total amount. I saw in the
Front
spreadsheet.
page.
$80,000, $45.
I figured somebody had it.
the 35,000. That's coming from insurance.
Yes.
Mainly insurance.
We had two vacant positions in our office, which were just recently filled, and we budgeted the highest maximum amount just to cover ourselves, but I imagine that's going to come down. I expect it to.
Have those employees done their open enrollment yet?
Not yet, because I asked Robin about that, and she said we had to wait.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah, because they're not eligible.
Right.
Yeah.
So-
So once they do their actual enrollment on what they're getting, we can adjust that to rectify the true numbers.
So those positions weren't filled in 23 or 24 or 24, 25?
They were just recently filled. Within the past 2 weeks, they started. But I'm sorry, what was your question?
Were those positions in the 23, 24?
Yes, they were.
They're
Not
not.
in
We had some
current
people
year?
leave. They
They're in
are.
current year, yes.
We just had people leave.
I'm just trying to figure out how it goes from 8,000 in 23, 24.
The person that was in it before probably didn't have health insurance. And we don't
Correct.
know what the new employees are going to have, so we have to
Gotcha,
budget for the
okay.
highest amount until we know what they're going to get.
So we have that in the highest
Yeah.
tier.
So the people that were in it before either had no
Which is
insurance
family
or just
coverage.
single
It could be
coverage. or-
family coverage.
It could be
That's
family
what you
coverage.
do.
Okay.
Yes, yes.
Correct.
So once they
Right.
can go through their enrollment, which we should know that before the end of this budget process, we can make a reduction if they're not going to take family coverage.
The 603% increase just threw me off. I was
Oh,
just
without
trying to
a
make
doubt,
sure
yeah.
that wasn't a typo.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
So to be clear, because I'm looking at that 40,857 is a result of a monthly rate of $3,400 per employee that we pay times 2 employees, right?
Yes, sir.
The insurance
Yeah,
is 1,702 times 2
per month.
per month and then annualized. Yes, sir.
Okay. Worst case scenario.
Right.
Correct.
And I've unlocked
We'll
all
we'll
the
know this.
spreadsheets.
We'll know this by the next.
Yeah, we should know it at least by the final public hearing, which is the last of September.
Okay.
And I'll get with Robin to make sure we do their benefits on time.
It's not where we could ask if they're gonna do family or not family.
Would you like to see it just in case without?
I have
The
not
problem
asked
is,
that. I don't
I'm
know if
looking at
we're-
the biggest, the numbers
may
that
not
we've had
know
all day
until we look at
long,
numbers.
and they big. I mean, I didn't know if it was legal or illegal or not.
We can
Just say, are
talk
y'all
to
wanna
them.
choose family or not? Are you gonna choose insurance or not? You can poll people and find out.
Yes, sir, you can.
We're
We
not
can certainly
dictating
talk
or
to them.
requiring it, we're
Right.
just trying to get an idea for budgeting purposes. I don't think it's.
I mean, it would be helpful
I can
to us.
find that out. I know we do have one that has a family. I don't know if she will require insurance through the county. And the other one does not have any dependents, is not married, so I'm assuming she would not be eligible for family coverage in that case,
Well,
so.
that would be
That would
helpful.
Significantly drop it for sure.
Big time, so,
Mhm.
and then you could plug those numbers in, and then if we have to adjust, we can.
I'm gonna top in what you got there at 38,708.
So, okay, the total on the, for insurance, total on insurance just showed almost 41,700 and something, 41,795. And on personnel summary, we've got some deductions, minus 714.
That's because the newer people don't make as much as the people
Okay.
that left.
And this is. So the 35,045 on the bottom of personnel summary,
Yes, sir.
is that already taken into account the additional insurance and things on the previous page, which is at
That's correct.
41,000?
It's 40,874 on the previous, but if you add these three, 497, 44874, and 441, that comes up to your health insurance tab.
Hang on one second, let me make sure I'm catching up with you. Not challenging, I'm just trying to understand. On the insurance summary page,
Yes, sir.
there's the 40,857.
Yes, sir.
There's also other insurances things for insurance obligations that when you add them into it, another 938, we have 41,785. If you look at the tab for health insurance, page 5, very bottom, there it is. That's in insurance obligation. That is total of both the health and other insurances. So that 41,785, that's increases there. But when we go over to personnel summary, it's coming out to 35,045. I'm trying to understand where is the $7,000 deduction. I'm not seeing it. I'm not
That's
understanding.
because it's taken in these deductions as well. It's a total of column F.
So this insurance total there is 71,000, 41,000. The personnel summary is 35. If we go here, personnel is 35,045, which is that number. But I'm not following how we go from health insurance of it costing us $41,000 more to netting on the 35. I don't see that big deduction. And maybe I'm missing it somewhere like that.
Are you, the 40,000, the increase, 35,000 is the difference from this budget to.
Okay.
The 5,800 here. The
Yeah.
request is 40. That's the net.
So we're
increase.
saying that it's an increase from this year's budget.
From the current,
Yeah.
which was only 5,800.
Okay.
Well, my recommendation is if you have an employee now, you know, that's single and don't have a family, why are we plugging in a number for family coverage when we know they're not qualified?
Well, she just started yesterday, and this was done
Okay.
prior.
That's
So.
solid, my question.
And then the other one only started 2 weeks ago, so
Okay. I understand.
they're brand new.
So what would be the difference in family and non-family? Ms. Cheryl, I know you know that.
So we would see if I took out the insurance just off assumptions,
Yeah.
it would go down to 38,708.
Yeah.
So that's just the new vehicle and,
Yeah.
and the 3% raises in FRS insurance and things like that.
Of course, the lower salary.
The lower salary.
And what's the decrease? Where's the decrease coming from?
There's a decrease on the salaries.
Is the salary, the page 3, the green one? That total page is 166,991. If you go over to personnel, page 6, go to the very top. That 166,991 has decreased from the current budget because those people left and you're hiring new people at a lower rate.
I think what may have happened
it's
is we had a custodian budgeted on this account, and all of that has changed, and so that custodian was partially moved. Part of that funded was moved to the Ag Center, and so that I think that's where the
You'll see
bigger
it on there, too.
decrease is seeing, and it's not going to show up here because we don't have that position listed, but we had our custodian split between the extension office and doing the auditorium rentals.
That's okay.
And we
I'm
moved.
just looking at the straight numbers, and I'm sorry I'm missing something here. We're showing right now that the requested for employees, based on the previous page, is 166,991, right?
Yes, sir.
But our current year is 167,
Correct.
and we're showing a difference of $714.
Yes.
Okay, so where's the $6,000 reduction coming in?
Other-
I think it
Right
was
there.
that custodian position.
Health
I'd have to
insurance.
look
Health
at my spreadsheet
contributions
from
is
last
$6,000
year,
minus. I don't know what page that is.
That's only 714. Yeah.
Right there's a $6,000 difference.
Yeah, but
Health
that's,
contribution.
That's after I did the adjustment. So go back, add it back.
on mine it shows 35,000 there.
And then this one. I put the insurance back. I don't see if it's talking about 6,000.
Something ain't right.
21 to 29.
If we had last year's, then we could look up and see what we budgeted for the custodian. I'm thinking that has to be the big increase, because we completely removed the custodian position from this budget.
How much was the custodian?
How much?
I'm looking.
I'm not sure what we budgeted. But that sounds about right.
It would almost offset the increase in the salary.
13,520. And that's what we budgeted.
So, on personnel summary, which is page 6, I guess. Health insurance contributions. Never mind, I see the 474. So it's gone up by 35,000 there. That's 35,000 is the increase. That's the increase of 35. calls for it too, Cheryl. I don't know where it is, because I see an increase of 35,000. And 40,874 is from one line of insurances. There's another 377 in the $6. So, in this personnel summary, the net increase went from 3,800 to 40,800.
The 3869
That's
is
not
the
a- that-
actual expenditures. The approved budget was 5812 last year.
Oh, you're correct, okay. But that's the difference of 35,000 from 58 to 40,000. That's the difference of increase of 35.
Mhm. I think so. I don't know.
Okay.
Got it?
Was that
Yeah.
it?
You good?
That's the increase is the 35. The 5,000's coming in because it was an increase of 40-some thousand, but if you had 5,000, that's where the difference is coming in. That's the $6,000 difference, but the increase of 35 is just the increase number.
From last year.
From last year to proposed.
Current year to next year.
From current year to next year, but from the current budget, it goes from 5,800 to 40,800. That's the $35,000 increase. But that's almost the $6,000 difference that would click. I got it.
Okay. All right, so back to the summary. And right now, we're going to keep D insurance at the high. We'll know next month, time y'all do your public hearings, and we'll adjust it accordingly.
One thing before we get off this, I want to make
Yes,
sure
sir.
I'm good on as well, is if I look at the personnel summary, if that's the right one to look, I want to make sure I'm looking at the right one. The personnel summary, which is page 6,
Yes, sir?
where does it take into account the number of employees with the 3%? Is it included? Okay, the 3% raise is on page 3.
Correct.
So that number already includes the 3% raise?
That's correct.
Okay.
I make them start on page 3, the green one,
Yes.
and then everything rolls, and it's all formalized. And the ones they get are locked down where they can't adjust formulas or anything, y'all have the unlock.
Well, I'm good with personnel services because the only increase is really going to be insurance and
And
the normal
vehicle.
increases, basically. The
Insurance.
3% raise, insurance, bike
Right.
account,
66,991,
everything.
okay.
And then you had a request for a vehicle,
Yes.
and that's in your capital.
Yes.
There's no changes on operating. The only other
No
changes
changes in
capital.
operating, and
Yes.
then you want, how much was for the vehicle?
45,000.
45 was on the budget.
Which puts us at 80,000 total. It's 45 and 35.
So last year, it shows we had administrative assistant position, program assistant 1, and program assistant 2 student. And the total of those totaled up to be 162,000. A 3% increase shows us increasing $4,864. That's how we get to 166,991. Right? There it is, the 166,991.
Got it.
But when we jump over to the summary of personnel services,
166,991.
but it shows the previous year at 167,705 approved budget. This is showing a decrease of 714. The other one shows an increase of 4,800 something.
Well, yeah, it was $5,000 off, but 162 right there versus
Page 6.
the 167 that was approved.
162, 127 is on that previous page. And And this shows 167, 705 is the starting page.
The 167,705.
Yes.
Double check.
So it
That may just
needs.
be an error.
Yeah.
There you go.
He just made you worse.
Mhm.
Go back, that's,
So that just made it 85.
167,705 is the budgeted amount that I have on my sheet, so. Did I enter it wrong? What was it?
80,000,
But when you
For
get to the
budgets?
detailed summary,
045. Yeah,
these
we just
people
went up.
have changed, that's why.
Well, and our 4-H agent received her promotional raise.
so here's what I'm hearing. At the bottom of this list, what's showing his current budget at 162, 127, is showing his current year budget. Is that a correct number or is it not?
That is correct.
The
Should-
162, 127?
Yes.
If that is a correct number, when you go to the summary page,
Right.
then the correct number should be 162 whatever, not 167 705. There's a disconnect here.
Yep.
That's a $5,000 off. That if you go back to the 162 that's shown,
Because what happened
it
was-
shows that now it shows an increase over here of $4,800 some dollars, not a deduction of 714. That's what was throwing me off because we said everybody's getting 3% raise, but we're saying it's a decrease in the amount. It can't.
Because this current budget, she is right, it was at 167, because we had 2 staff members at a higher rate. I'm doing actual right here of 162, 127.
So did we pay people more than what we budgeted for?
No.
The 2 people that left, they were getting paid at what they were supposed to be getting paid.
Okay, it's $5,000 in this
Yeah.
big scheme of thing. I'm just saying, these are not lining up. Either the first page is right or the second page is right. But right now, the two don't match
That is
and
in
one's
the
not
budget,
correct.
167, 705. But to get to the current and where we need to go for next year, the salary list is what you need to go by. These are the actual people that are being hired and working for you today.
162, 127.
Yes. However, that has changed since you approved this numbers of last September.
How did it change? Did we adopt something different to
Because
change the
John and
budget?
Jerry left at $15 an hour, and I got Tom and Sally coming in at 14. And I'm putting actual on that page 3. So we can project into this coming up
Yeah,
here.
they left at this one, brought in at this one. We should
Yes.
see a reduction, not an increase.
Well, we
Let's-
did,
let's
we had
move
an
on.
agent
This
get
is
a
where we
promotional
run in
raise, so I
circles.
have a
The
feeling
two
that
numbers
plays
don't
a role
match.
as well.
No, they don't. This total hourly rate right here, just for instance, is $84.95. Last year, it was budgeted at $91.02.
So yeah. Let's.
What is it?
I say we just move on with it, and we'll come back to this one.
What is the
Or
budget
look
for
at it.
this year, is what I want to know. What are we budgeting for this year?
167, 705.
That's the budget for this year. That's what we're approving.
Yes, last September.
Okay.
Okay, so all in all, we're at a 80,045 increase.
So we're doing 3% pay raise, but we're going down in the hole.
Okay.
Yeah, 3% increase, that cheaper labor.
Cheaper labor, and 2 of them, well, they want the $14 an hour, the raise is already figured into them, or the ones you just hired? They shouldn't be getting a raise, they just got hired, or are they getting a raise?
We included them as part of the raise.
Okay, so they're figured into the raise. I've never got a raise during probationary period. So what are we looking at in $80,000,
$80,045.
$45? And that is in $45,000 for a new van, and personnel and insurance costs. Are the
Yes.
two hitters.
Yes,
And
that's
just
correct.
FYI, that is your approved budget that you approved September of last year.
How much money are we spending on the van and maintenance? The reason I'm asking in this is because everybody's budget this year is coming in over. So for my personal information is I want to know if the van can make another year or not.
As far as maintenance goes, we've only used about half of our budget, which was $250. And fuel.
Maintenance, I don't care about fuel.
Okay,
Maintenance is all I care about.
right. Oil changes, tires, yeah.
No major components.
We've only had to replace tires and do oil changes in the past couple of years.
So how did they get stopped on the side of the road and there was no repair?
That's,
There was a tire issue.
Oh, okay.
I'm thinking motor.
Yeah, I was thinking mechanical.
We've had other mechanical issues in the past, but not in the last year or two, so.
What kind of, because here's the question we're trying to get to, Alicia. You're saying you haven't even used $250 for maintenance.
Mhm.
But if there was mechanical issues, there would be a cost associated with repairs.
Correct.
And if we don't have costs associated with repairs, it's
That was an-
challenging to understand
Right.
how there's such mechanical issues if there's no repairs. We're trying to understand
Yes, I
what's the
understand.
mechanical issues with that.
We've had a shifter that came out, couldn't put it back into drive.
Did it require mechanical work, effort?
I
to
believe the
make-
road department repaired it for us
Okay.
in that case.
The biggest problem that I see when driving that vehicle is getting on the interstate, and I don't know what causes this problem, if it's just the age of the vehicle. But my issue with when I drove it to Tallahassee is that it could not get up to speed. Like pedal on the floor, and it was like 45 miles an hour trying
Have
to
we
get on the
taken it to
interstate.
have it assessed?
I believe so. I think the road department has looked at it a few times.
We've
talking
taken
about
it in
by a
several
professional
times when lights
mechanic.
come on.
I mean,
Shop.
our road department. People
I
are
know they're
mechanics.
professional, but they deal a lot more with diesel
Yes, sir.
than
Not,
they do.
not in current budget year. We've had them look at it before. It
I
had
ain't
some
talking about
electronic
this. Y'all
issues.
think you trying to make me look bad in front of the road department. I know
No,
what
sir,
I'm
not
talking
at
about.
all. Never. I would never.
These
tell
are
them to
diesel
do that.
mechanics that work on equipment. I'm talking about
Yes, sir.
a man that pulls the computer, puts the
Mhm.
computer on the thing, and they can tell you what's wrong with it.
Yes,
the
sir.
It's
van.
just hard to justify a brand new vehicle
Mhm.
as much as they cost now when you can't show me that it tore up and you've had it fixed
Yes, sir.
several times.
Yes, or no, I don't know the ins and outs of it, but that would be Alicia
That's
to
a
handle all those.
consideration, yeah.
But I can say from my personal experience trying to drive it, it was very difficult to drive in traffic, especially in Tallahassee. Commissioner Croft was still here. He'd tell you I actually got a wheel at one of the red lights in Tallahassee because of
Oh,
trying
I
to
remember
go.
riding in it.
Yeah, you were with us that
Yeah.
year. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like I said, from my
I know that's
perspective,
Just
So
driving
why
it is very
hasn't the
difficult.
problem been resolved
Mhm.
before now?
Honestly, in my opinion, I think we
How
just
much
talked
does it
about
get
the
used?
vehicle being old and being 17 years old as part of the issue with it. But I don't know. I said as far
It's
as
a
how much
what,
it's being used.
2017?
No. The vehicle is
2008?
yeah.
I thought you
Yeah.
said 2017.
It's
No,
No,
it's
it
a
is 17
17
years
year
old.
old
The vehicle is 17 years old.
And we do
Gotcha.
use it to transport
Children.
children.
Now we're talking a different story.
Somebody said 2017.
Somebody
Yeah,
said
yeah,
it was a
yeah.
2017 van, and I'm
Yeah.
wondering why in 8 years we're replacing
No,
it.
sir.
I thought you'd already got a new one. I rode it.
Did I hear that myself or?
You,
No,
you
I-
must
I
have heard
heard
us say
that.
it was 17 years old.
No,
Yeah.
nobody
it
said
said
17.
That's
They
what I
said-
said. It's 17 years old. Sorry, sir, if you misunderstood me.
We got this thing recorded, so I'm approving you. Year 2017?
Either way, I mean,
Yeah,
Yeah,
if you
somewhere
look
there.
on the capital
It's- I-
explanation sheet, it's 17-year-old 2008 Chevy Uplander.
I would tell you right now,
Yeah.
in my opinion, I know that'd be great to have a new van, But at $47,000, when we've done nothing to take the vehicle to go have it thoroughly checked to see what happened, we could spend $2,000 to have a van that's fully mechanically operational with everything working. And we haven't done that. Plain and simple, for whatever reason, it hasn't been done. I'm gonna have a hard time justifying a brand new vehicle when we haven't taken steps to truly go have it checked out, to have it, to know what can be done. That's, to hear that when you go to get on the interstate and it's implied that it's unsafe, that you couldn't get on the interstate, well then that should have been red flags and it should go into the shop immediately to be fixed. To not do anything, to absolutely do nothing with it, and then come back and say it's a huge maintenance cost, but there's been no maintenance associated with it, those two don't jive for me.
The vehicle's 17 years old, and how many miles did you say it had? 85,000?
It has 86, just over 86,000.
Not my knowledge.
$250 of repairs and maintenance a year, and you're only halfway through with it. Shows that it's only went 5,000-6,000 miles.
So, to be honest, no one feels comfortable driving it. We would rather drive our own vehicles if we have a place to go, because we know we'll get there on time. We haven't been using it to transport children because we don't feel comfortable doing that. So
Take it to the shop and have it checked.
yeah,
We
have, sir.
Who do we take it to? Because there's no maintenance
We've-
bills expenses.
yes,
to
I
it.
understand.
So to
In
say
years
that we've
past,
taken
we've
it,
taken it to several shops, have them hook it up to their computer. They say, "Oh, we don't know what's wrong. It says this.
Okay.
It's throwing that code."
Okay.
It's just one of those where we're just getting frustrated. So, but I can bring all that next year, and I'll ask again if I need to.
Again, what our challenge becomes is we've got every department right now. I'm already running a running total, and we are right now at request at a grand total of $1.3 million of increases from last year.
Mhm.
That anything that we're going to approve is going to have to come with some thorough justification. That's all I'm saying. And right now, I hear what you're saying. Don't disagree with what you're saying, and don't disagree with the opinions on it. But there's nothing showing us that there's actually been work to check that vehicle out. Or I'm not seeing it. Let me see
Do you
it.
have any documentation saying what you said?
I'm sure we do. We save all our receipts.
Can you get that to Sarah?
I can, yes.
We need some justification. I've had people justifying why they're having new employees, why you're asking for this, why. We're gonna have to make some cuts probably to some of these budgets, and I just want to know, and I feel you, if it's that bad, I wouldn't want to put my kids in it and drive them down the road neither. But you have to understand our side, we never drive it.
Right.
So we're sitting here and you're telling us it's falling to pieces, it ain't worth putting,
It's not falling to pieces yet.
you're not wanting to drive it, but then you're spending $250 in 6 months or 9 months to fix it.
And that's,
There's just ain't no justification, but if you have some kind of justification showing where you took it to the shop, and 17 years old is, I heard 2017, but 17 years old is quite much time on a van.
Mm-hmm.
But all we're asking for is justification for us to approve a $45,000 expense, which is the same thing you would want to do.
Right. Yes, sir.
Anything else? Any other questions or comments? All right, we're moving to our next item on the agenda, which is the Ag Center.
The Ag Center, we have one vacant position, which is our custodial position. That will be filled once we are back up and running, when the construction is all complete. And everything else has basically stayed the same, other than we are asking for an increase on our contractual line, which is page 7, for monthly lawn maintenance. And I will say we've gotten 2 quotes so far. I didn't necessarily like either one of them, so we're trying to find ways to reduce that. And then we had also talked about shopping around for a new contract, a new service on contract.
Excuse me. Well, thank you.
the custodian position, is that still in there? Or is that a
Yes.
new position?
No, that's not a new position. It's just been vacant for an extended period of time.
Did we budget last year for it?
Correct,
Yes.
yes, we did.
But we split the position between this and extension.
So now it's just straight.
And it's just extension.
Who's doing the extension?
I'm
So
sorry.
that's-
Who's
Our custodian that we gave a pay raise
the
to
one?
earlier today.
I just want to make sure it was covered. I'm like,
It is, yes, sir.
that's beyond your job duties, but I know you can do it.
Yes, sir. That's one of the offices that we've added to his services.
I think I need to go in the lawn maintenance business. There ain't no grant. Oh, it is that field in the back. I forgot. Did they
there's quite
take care of
a bit.
that too?
There's quite a bit. We did take most of that off the table and got this quote, but I'm trying to reduce it even more. We took some things off the table. They were wanting to trim bushes and trees,
Really
and I said, no,
manicure,
we don't
yeah.
need to do that.
What's
We
that, just
need
mowing weed eating?
So,
I'm sorry.
Mow and weed eat, is that all?
It was mowing, weed eating, debris removal. The quote should have been included.
It
Go
may
in the
not be
parking
on
lot.
their attachment.
Mowing, edging, weed eating, blowing, removal of dead vegetation. That's what this includes. 2
Yeah.
times per month from February to October and 1 time per month, November through January. So it's a total of 24 property visits per year.
Yeah. And again, you gotta keep in mind how large that arboretum is in the back. So I will say that it is time for us to go out and look for new prices on lawn maintenance as a whole. That contract needs to be updated.
Mhm.
So that is something that we know that number is high. We know we want to bring that down, but we also know that we need it in the budget. So for now, that's the number that we have. But we are working on getting that reduced.
Well, it's a little better number when I found out that we're doing the back
The
too.
arboretum, yes, sir, that's a huge.
I know what I pay for lawn maintenance.
Yes,
and
sir.
That's made more
It's a
sense.
total
I'm
of
thinking
5
about
acres
just the front, but then I
with
looked
the
at it.
buildings.
Yes.
okay, sorry, I need to jump back to personnel. Back
Yes.
on,
So only increase here would be in the lawn maintenance itself.
Correct. And the slight for the personnel.
Yeah.
I'm struggling with the personnel side again, not because of what you're asking for, but the information that's presented. Because when I jump back and look over here on this page right here, no, go pick a page. That page, it shows total amount $16,068, right?
Right.
And it shows a 3% increase of only $468 to get to the $16,068. So it says to go for our personnel side for the 3%, it's only costing us $468. Because we have current pay in the last, excuse me, it's $15,600. When we go to the personnel summary, you got an $8,000 number in there.
Because it was split between 2 departments.
So then the other number should have been split too. We're
No, we're moving all to this department.
I think we did reduce the amount. We didn't move it all. I want to say we reduced it. We did?
So here we're showing on this page a $7,966 increase, which on the other one was $468. So basically a $7,500 increase more on here because we're moving everything to this one department. Where is it coming from? Which department are we moving it from being split into one?
Extension.
And have we got to extension yet?
We just passed it.
And did we get a $7,500 decrease in that one?
Should
That
whatever
was
we
the
decreased it by,
6,000.
it should have been accounted for.
That's not what we said a while ago. What was told a while ago on the extension was the difference, and the reason it was reduced is because we are cheaper pay.
But she
Not
did
because
say
we
it,
moved.
we reduced it by.
Well, the
3.
custodian.
But you were looking at the salary list on page 3, and I said that's where we got the decrease in pay. But it was because we cut the custodian as well.
We'll review it. We'll make sure our numbers are accurate. So we've got a discrepancy there somewhere.
Oh, it's accurate, it's just gotta, because page 6 reflects what you approved in September. page 3 is what is actually today and what you have to budget for the future. I have extension up for last year, and it was $7,866.
We move on. It's not gonna be sitting
At
there.
11 hours work.
This stuff is not correctly represented. You can't pick and choose to show it one way in one place and another way in a different place. Either show straight what the numbers are, and if you're gonna put on page 6 what the approved budget was, then on page 3, show the same thing. You can't show on one page, it's this amount, and on the next page, show a totally different amount. It's supposed to be the same information carried through, and it's not, and it's,
What we can do for the future is at the bottom, say deduct positions, and that can net it out.
Can you go back to your summary page on the Ag Center? Okay. Now go back to where your lawn maintenance was for last year. What was the cost last year?
We didn't have it budgeted.
So the increase is totally. Who done your lawn maintenance last year?
Our county maintenance.
We're trying to make some changes to that, to what they're going to be doing more of our parks and things like that, and taking off some of the office commercial space from them. So some realignment of duties between what we're doing in-house versus what we're contracting. That's the reason why we're adding it to the extension office budget this year, or Ag Center budget, excuse me.
I don't remember, that's the first time I remember in this budget of having lawn maintenance.
Yes, sir. It's so time consuming there.
I know
Our
we
staff's
had-
time would be better used if we can split them up into
Okay.
areas, yes, sir.
I remember we had to do the courthouse,
Yes,
but
sir.
everything else was done by county employees.
Yes, no, we actually have quite a few, the health department, post office,
Yeah.
courthouse, we've got quite a few that are on, a lawn service agreement. So we're trying to make some changes to that, because we've been fully staffed in our rec department, and we want to bring a lot of that back in-house, and realign that. Like I said, this was one that we said we'd
I
like
don't have a
to-
problem with it, I just would want to understand.
Yes, sir.
Because I've never seen it before.
Yes, sir, you're right. You're
So
right.
are you looking at maybe getting a price for all those from one place?
So we have a lawn service agreement now.
Yeah, I know.
Yes, sir, and it's been in place for several years. And so it's time to renew that. When we go to renew it, we actually would like to make some changes to the ones that the commercial lawn company is doing versus in-house. So we'd like to take some of those off of the lawn service contract and begin doing those in-house now that we've got adequate staff to do it. One of them that come up in question was Alicia's, because it's so time consuming. Could we take on more off of the contract and do those in-house if we had
So
someone
you're
do
gonna
hers?
take some off
Or
and
yes.
add?
Yes,
So
sir,
you
we're-
don't know what that price
We're
might
trying to
be.
rearrange those, yes, sir, to have a better use of our staff's time versus the contractor's
And when is the
time.
contract?
We are ready,
out?
we'll be ready to bid that. I'm sorry, I don't have that off the top of my head with everything else we're thinking about, but, that should be ready to bid in less than 30 days. We'll be looking at those prices.
Well, my
very soon.
recommendation is to decide what you want the lawn company to do and bid it all at one.
Yes, sir, that's how the contract is written. It is a
So
list
they take care of everything and we're
Yes,
not
sir.
having all these different people mowing different places.
No, sir, it is the contract lists all of the service locations, and they're required to bid on all or none. They can't pick and choose, to only do certain ones.
That's exactly.
Yes, sir, that's correct.
Okay.
Anything else?
No, I just seen that number and I'm like, I've never seen that number before. I've been sitting here a long time. It's hard to believe I can remember some of these stuff.
Yeah.
I remember.
And I didn't like that number either. We're gonna try to get that down.
It's expensive. I
Yeah.
pay for
Very
it.
expensive.
I pay for it, so I
It
know.
looks like.
But you have to figure in that their expenses is
Oh, I know.
maintenance,
Yes.
employee, fuel, so it,
$1,000 a week is pretty. that's not
800.
right. Never mind.
No, it's-
I got it. Never mind.
okay. Anything else?
Appreciate you.
All right, thank you.
Thank
So-
you, Lee.
Mhm.
Number 18, Community Development Services.
Hello. I don't think any of us are ready for me today, so.
Take it easy on
That's what Mr. Collins says.
That is what he says. Every time somebody will listen, that's what he says. So I know this first sheet's going to have a little shock value to it, so just be
We've
open-minded.
been shocked all day, so.
Yeah, just be open-minded going into it. So.
Okay, I think we're ready. You want to jump into
Yeah,
page one?
so we're ready. You'll see overall there is I guess you would say a significant increase on the first page there. I will say this is the first time in many years that our department has been completely staffed. So this is the first time that there's not either a vacant position or an interim position on our budget. So whether it's an increase or a decrease, that's good news. So moving along.
Have we budgeted each year for fully staffed?
We have. Yeah.
We've showed it either as vacant or interim on the budget though. So if we go to the salary sheet, you'll see I have it proposed a little differently, partially with a 3% increase and partially with a policy adjustment. So the first two policy adjustments that you see are for the permitting technicians. So we have moved one of those permitting staff up to the planner position and filled both of those permitting technician spots. They were both brought in at $14.50. If they were to get the 3% increase, it would bring them up to $14.94 for this year. That would be okay for September of this year. That's $14 for minimum wage. But trying to look ahead, September of next year when that goes into effect, they would, be under that minimum wage. So we were thinking a policy adjustment to bring them up to $15.50. And then that way, when minimum wage comes into $15 next year, they are 50 cents over that minimum wage rate.
And also in that too, LaDonna, with the new permitting software, it's
Yes.
going to require some additional
It
duties
is.
of those two permitting
is.
techs. And so when we looked at it, we thought from the increase in duties that it would require, that they warranted more than the 3%
Right.
raise, that we really needed to
Right.
look at them from policy adjustment.
Right.
So I want to make sure I understood what you just said.
Mhm.
The permitting technicians, the current rate, if you did a 3% raise, they'd make more than the $14.50 that's being proposed as a policy decision?
No.
Proposed
So
15.50.
$14.50 is their current. $14.50 is their current rate.
This-
$14.50 is current rate. That's what they were brought in at. The 3%, a 3% increase would bring them up to $14.94. So that would be fine for minimum wage this year, but just looking into next year,
Next year,
September,
50%.
minimum wage come in at 15, they would be $14.94. They would be under minimum wage next September.
But we would increase then when it's time to go up.
Well, we would increase October.
And that's in the increased job duties as well. Like I said,
Right.
They were
And then
right
in
there
addition-
on the cusp of it, but so taking into account the additional job duties that they're going to be doing is why the policy adjustment was put in there.
And then there is another policy adjustment as well for that last position. So code enforcement and SHIP, as you know, Miss Lydia does both of those jobs. It's 2 part-time jobs. With the CDBG funds coming this year, she is going to have a bigger responsibility. So we were also suggesting a policy adjustment for her position as well, and you will see half of this in the community development budget and half of it in the SHIP budget, since that position is split. And then the other change that you'll see for salaries is we are proposing to budget for $1,500 of overtime each year. Just historically, over the last couple of years, we've paid out between $1,000 and $1,500 worth of overtime for staff when it's required for them to stay over for meetings. So when Miss Lydia is presenting to you for SHIP, and then when our planner is staying for those LPA meetings, we try to adjust that out, but that's just not always feasible. Especially with those LPA meetings being on Thursday nights, if we have a full day Friday, they're not always able to adjust that time off. So just with us talking, it was suggested that we add that
We're doing it now, we
into
just
the
didn't
budget.
show it broken out in the budget.
Right.
Like we're not-
Instead of
we
it
try to
looking
let them use
like
it
an
as comp
overage
time.
later.
Right,
Yeah.
right. But our first option is that they use it as comp time and take the time off for what they work. But with scheduling, like what Dawn says, you can't always do that. We do that here
Right.
with Kayla. The first option is if she's got an appointment or something that she needs to take off, we try to schedule it around her extra hours that she's worked for the commission meetings. But like I said, you can't always do that. We're doing it now. It's very minimal cost. We just weren't
Right.
showing it in the budget, so we wanted to be able to show that. Just
Yeah.
a true figure of what's being spent in the department.
Yeah, historically, we haven't, it hasn't been over $1,500 in the last couple of years.
It's normally only a few $100.
Yeah,
but-
it's been 1,000 or less. There
Yeah.
was one year that it was closer to 1,500, but for the most part, it has been 1,000 or less. But that's why you're seeing that. So any additional questions there? All right. All right, so if we're looking at, Cheryl, I don't know what, page 7. So the first line item for professional services, you'll see a 3% increase. That is for our building official salary. He has asked for a 3% increase, so that's what you see there. A 3% increase in his in his contract, not his salary. I'm sorry, in his contract. Yes. So you'll see his total number there with that 3% increase. If you go down to other professional, there's a little bit of shock value there, but it's not as bad as it looks, I promise. So we generally budget about $25,000 for professional services each year. As you know, we have to update our comp plan this year. So we've started the first phase of that. The remainder of that looks like about $125,000. We have applied for a $75,000 grant, but we do not know if we've gotten it yet. So we had to, we submitted it in July. It was supposed to close the beginning of August, but they haven't announced anything yet. So ideally, we'll be able to take $75,000 off of that. But in the event that we can't, I wanted you guys to see that full number.
I'm sorry, say that one more time. Take 75,000 off of which one?
So off of the comp plan amendment. So
Other professional.
under other professional services.
Yeah.
So you see $175,000 increase. So $125,000 of that is for our comp plan amendment.
Yeah.
Ideally, $75,000 of that is gonna come from grant funding, which would leave us $50,000 for the county to pay. The
But we
addition.
don't know that yet.
We
So
don't
right
know
now
that
we're-
yet.
we're
We don't,
funding- we're
yeah,
funding for
that,
worst
it
case
just
scenario.
closed in August, the 1st of August. So we just don't have, we haven't heard anything back from them. So ideally, when you see this next time, it would be reduced by $75,000.
Well, I guess what I'm getting at is it doesn't matter if we get grant funding or not, you still have to have the budget to be able to spend it, whether we get revenue for it or not, we got to have the full budget there. It just may mean that we don't, that we have a different
You've got
revenue
revenue.
source.
Right, right.
That wasn't here, but we still got to have the budget, so this is not going to be reduced. I just want to be
No,
clear on this.
not reduced.
The number's still gonna stay the same.
It's still gonna stay the
We just may have to have
same.
a revenue stream that helps offset some of the county's portion that we have to pay.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, yes.
The-
Yes, I'm sorry, I
this-
was not
this-
clear with that,
This
yes.
has got to stay in it, because otherwise we don't have
Right,
the budget
right.
authority to spend the money.
But when we're thinking of actuals, we would
Okay.
get $75,000 of that reimbursed. And then the other $50,000 for that, we've had a lot of talk about FEMA and floodplain management. The portion of floodplain management that we are lacking is the substantial damage assessment. So we've talked to several other counties that are similar to ours. We've talked to the regional council. We've talked to several different people. A lot of counties that are similar to ours, they contract out the substantial damage assessment portion. The rest of floodplain management fits in what we do every day now, and we can handle the rest of that. The contracts that we're seeing for that fall between $40,000 and $50,000. So that's why you see $50,000 for that line item.
And that, again, that would be only if we have a storm that hits that
Right.
meets the qualifications that we have to do those
Right.
substantial damage assessments. So it would be a continuing contract that we have in place, but it would be only as services are needed.
Right.
So you budget for it, like Commissioner Bennett says, so you've got the authority to spend it, but if you don't have a need for it, then you would not use that service throughout the year.
Right. Some counties completely contract out floodplain management, and they delegate out all of those duties, and it's not necessary for us to do that. This is just the one portion of that we're missing. So we would only be looking to contract that part out.
LaDonna, is this comp plan rewrite a one budget year, one-time thing, or is this something that's gonna be in
It-
continuing budgets?
You're going to see this every so many years. It's not every year.
But all of this improvement will be done in this budget year.
Yes, and, well,
It
not in
won't be-
current budget, in
Yeah.
25, 26,
And proposed
yes.
budget, yes.
Yes.
But it won't go into 26, 27.
No,
Okay.
it will not.
The comp plan amendments haven't ever revised in years.
Right.
It's not an annual.
I just wanted to know how long it was gonna drag out.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
They
the
do
way
put
it is
more
right
back.
now,
And that's a pretty average cost, I think, to pay on 120.
I guess 7 years ago, they put out a schedule and said that everybody had to do it every 3 years. So we were on the schedule for this year and for 3 years ago. Now, we don't have a new schedule. I'm not sure if they're gonna continue with the 3 years or if that's gonna change at all. But it is a statutory requirement that we do that every 3 years right now. If we do not do that, we cannot submit land use amendments to the state.
I just wanted to make sure it was a one-time charge and we were getting it all in one budget year.
Yes, yes. So the only other thing really was just general cost increases. Our credit card fees, what we're charged on that, we've had just an influx of people paying with credit cards, so we've seen that
large
pretty
amounts of
high.
credit cards.
Yeah, large, very large
Cheryl, you said we
amounts.
had one fee that was really high?
$22,000.
Yeah, they
was
paid
charged.
$22,000 with their card.
About had a stroke.
Which you're being charged, a fee for charge?
Someone came in and paid that.
They
to
paid
us.
their fees with
One
it.
part paid $22,000.
Oh, I do that all the time. That's not abnormal.
We just
I
don't
get those
typically
all
see
the
them
time.
that high.
Yeah,
in that
that's like-
department.
The question I have, are we recouping our money for the fees from the,
Since the fees have been increased, I guess.
So
Yes, but
this,
we should not be paying the fee, the customer should be paying the fee.
Yeah. I said, when we first started processing credit card fees, Commissioner, it was brought before the board, and the policy that was given at the time was that we would not pass that on to the customer.
Yeah, so
Should that
that's-
Wow,
opinion
that's-
change now,
that's
we-
not a fee that's, yeah, we charge the same whether they pay with cash, check, or card.
Yeah, you can't do that.
Oh.
That was back in the day when that was probably done, your fees was probably point something percent. Now your fees are getting to 2 and 3 and 4
You're
percent.
so,
And we support that change.
And
We
you
just- it's
cannot
not been the
afford to
direction
do
we're
that.
going.
right.
We're
um,
losing money doing that. And we can't do that.
We are.
They're
We are.
paying for the convenience fee, not the county.
And I've seen too, some places, if it's under a certain amount, they may not charge a fee. Over a certain amount, they may charge a fee.
Too difficult.
Wow.
That's true. So just,
You just pay if you want to use your credit card, we accept it, but you have to pay a fee.
Do any
Everybody
other-
has to.
Yeah,
I know the
restaurants
clerk's
charge
office
you.
takes payment. Do they, you both charge a percentage fee? Okay, so that's something, if.
I don't want to make any money, but I don't want to lose any
No,
money.
absolutely. If this is, say $12,000 a year that can be recouped versus lost,
I mean,
absolutely.
that should be a policy pretty quick.
Yeah, yeah. So what I just handed you, we had talked a little while back about the number of permits and the number of applications that were coming in and some totals. So I totaled all of the permits and applications for 23, 24, and so far in 25, just so that you can kind of see a total there. So this includes all permits, all applications. It does not include, for example, if we received a third-party invoice on behalf of a project, and that project pays that invoice, we may be the go-between for that, but that is not in these totals, because that wouldn't be a
If we're
true
pass-through-
representative.
If it's a pass-through, we
Right,
don't charge.
right.
But this is actually
So
what we
this
charge
is-
to collect in the county.
This is literally based on our receipts
Income.
for applications and permits. So you'll see 23, it was 352 and some change. 24 was 516, and then for 25 we're at 385 already, and we still have 4 months. So we've heard a lot of people say that things are slowing down, but we haven't seen that yet. So I mean.
Well, we've done something with our fees to help
And you'll
bring those costs up.
and you'll see we did that fee increase last July.
Yeah.
So if you look at August, you can see that increase in August.
Exactly.
And I'll tell you the biggest part of that August increase was contractor registrations. So previously, we did not charge a contractor to register in our county. So they could come here, they could do one roof and leave the county, and they were not charged for us to register them. So now we charge for that. Now, that did not affect any contractors that were already working in our county. If they were already registered, they did not pay that registration fee. This is only for new contractors or a contractor that's just coming in and working one time and then leaving.
So, let me just kind of summarize it. Let's see if I'm tracking right. Last year, we did $516,000 in permit fees.
Mm-hmm.
Run this department, $700,000.
Mm-hmm.
So we're collecting fees that covers $500,000 to $700,000 in costs.
A good chunk of it.
We charging fees here
Just so I
to
can
cover
know.
the cost, very much like we approach with special assessments, the fire, we try to cover fire, same thing. This is, if we want to truly cover the cost of running that department, we'd have to increase fees even further to
Yeah.
balance this way out.
And I mean, if you look there, that's a substantial difference between 23 and 24. You know, when that increase happened halfway through 24. So
My goal is to see a whole year, which we'll see this budget,
Yes.
this year, we'll see a
Yes.
whole year. Then we can go back and look at where we need to tweak,
right,
but we came a long way in 1 year.
definitely,
And that's basically what we was trying to do.
definitely.
It ain't saying that you can't go back and revisit, but we was doing half of what our cost, now we're doing almost 2/3. That's a
Right.
big jump,
Right,
which is where we want to be. We don't want to make money,
right,
but we don't want to lose money either.
right.
But I'll tell you now, back to your point, Commissioner Chairman, I would like to see coming up, on the next commission meeting, or soon thereafter, something that this board to vote on, to start assessing the convenience fees immediately.
Yes.
Okay,
for
we can
these
do that.
applications.
Absolutely.
Because when I look at this page right here, and I see this coming year, we've got $12,000 programmed
Right,
for a convenience. I appreciate that, but let me tell you, if you're gonna tell me I'm gonna pay $150 convenience fee on this big bill versus won't bring you a paycheck, bring you a
Well,
check,
right.
I'm gonna go run by
Right.
pick up a check and come do it.
right.
Yeah.
Right? So my point is we do offer it as a convenience, but check with Rich, make sure everything is good, that we can do that as a convenience fee. So,
Yes.
so with that, I want to jump on and move on to the next item that you have on here, software licensing. I
Yes.
see last year we had 15,650, we got it again this year.
So we're still, so we knew when we requested this last year that it was going to be at least February before they could start working with us. So we're doing that. We're in the middle of that, and we're hoping that we're close. But you see this still here because we are not sure that we are going to be finished by October 1.
And I'm okay with that, but we ought to know if we did $15,000 for this year, and we're under contract, and we should be able to project by the end of this year, we're gonna have spent 12,000, then I don't need to budget 15,000 for next year if we only got contract less is 3,000 or whatever. You get the point? We don't need two
Yeah,
full
we
budget
haven't-
amounts each year.
They've only sent one invoice.
Yeah,
is
we've
my
we've
No,
understanding.
paid we've paid one invoice for $700.
Well,
Is
then
it so
there's
far?
a problem with that. The contractor needs to invoice us on a routine basis of what
Okay.
it is and get an invoice in.
To reduce the amount of what we pay.
and we need to know what it is, because you can tell them,
Yeah.
if you don't invoice us within so many days of the work being performed,
Yeah.
we need to have an invoice. You're budgeting for another full year, and if we only going to spend a fraction of that,
Right.
that's just putting a bunch of money into the budget that we don't need to have.
Yeah, I agree.
And we've got to cut some things down, so this
Okay.
would be a good one to reduce.
Okay. We'll see if we can work on that. All right.
And I'll say the same thing about the bathroom repairs.
So,
Which that's what you're getting to, right?
yes, that was the next thing. So last year,
Before we jump there, if you don't mind, back
Mhm.
onto this one.
Absolutely.
My question's going to come back to that one. Where are we at with getting this thing done and finished and implemented? This software
The
license?
software? Yeah.
Where,
so they have sent us some models to look at to be able to start our training. So we're to the point now that they should have everything implemented. We're ready to ideally start training staff. That's going to be our next step.
okay, so I'd ask for a schedule, Sarah. Let's put together a schedule when this thing's going to go live, right?
Okay.
Just keep going on, buddy.
Just put it on our pending business report for our board meetings so that we can get an update
Okay.
every board meeting. You're here all the time anyway, so it's good. We need to get this moving. We've been
Okay.
working on this for 3 years, I know.
Not a problem.
We've worked on for a long time.
Yes.
Longer than that,
This
but that's-
company has been a year almost. but
I'm
it's
saying we
a long
worked 2
time.
years before that, so
Well, we had one company that
If we
was
get it on the
fired
pending
because they
business
produced
report, it's
nothing
before
in,
us, so
in 3 years. You're
let's
absolutely
move
right.
on.
Yeah.
So we got a long day ahead of us.
So the
But I'm gonna recommend, Sarah, you get with Rich on the credit card fees, so just get that, and so we can drop that off the budget.
Yes, sir. We certainly
I'm
can.
not gonna budget $12,000 to pay convenience fees.
Yes, sir.
Right.
We will do it.
Okay. The other thing is the bathroom. So we had a couple of quotes last year to add in the hot water tank to give us hot water to the 2 bathrooms. You guys approved that last budget, and now no one wants to come look at it. So Sarah and I have worked on maybe sending it out for bid. The people who gave us quotes, their response to me is either they do not have time to do it right now, or I get no response from them at all. So
Is this a project, or we're gonna have to have an engineer design?
No, because we're not moving any
we're not
fixtures.
moving
Get with me
anything.
offline, and we could probably sub this out ourselves, just basically like what we done at the building for the Kyler station.
Oh, that's what she's trying to do. She just can't
Yeah.
get anybody to actually show
I
up and do the
can't.
work.
Just get
Yeah.
with me offline on this, and we'll get
Okay.
it done.
Okay.
I just need to know what's gotta be done.
Okay. Brian and I have put together a little a write-up for it to send out for bid, so I'll get that to you. And
Okay. I'll get it done. I ain't paying for it, but I'll get it done.
You're
I
not
am
going to come
paying
do
for
it?
it.
What
I
I
think
hear is
I
you're
can't-
coming to do it for
Yeah.
us,
I
right?
can't.
Coming with us
I
too.
guarantee if I could, I would, but as a commissioner, I can't do it. But I can help
You
you.
could if you donated your time.
What do you think I'm fixing to do?
I'm just teasing you, Commissioner.
But I can get it done. I have people who work for me that we can get it done.
Okay.
Subcontractors who work for me. I will
Okay.
put it to you like that.
Good deal.
We can get it. There ain't no
You can
sense.
encourage your subcontractors to continue to be subcontractors, how they need to.
I didn't
also
say
do
There you
that.
go.
county.
There you go.
But they are good people. They'll help.
Yeah.
But sometimes you just have to have
Encouragement.
a little courage.
Yeah.
Well, it's a small project. There's not a lot of profit margin on it.
There's
you know.
not, and I think that's part of the problem.
It is a problem, but for what y'all had bid it the first time, it was a lot of profit figured into it.
Yeah, but even with that profit margin, they still don't want to, you know?
I'll get-
Anyways.
Let's move on, we'll leave it in
the-
there, and we'll get it done this year.
Okay, the only other thing you see,
You
Hmm?
said you're gonna get it done this year, so take this off?
yeah, he said,
Before October 1?
You still have the money from last budget year
It's in
in?
Yes,
current year.
yes.
This is carrying.
yes,
forward.
it's in
Carry-
current
just
year,
leave
this
it-
would be to
carry
roll it over.
forward, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you
so-
still
so
have the
do
money,
carry
we
it
ain't spending.
Okay. Till October 1.
It's hunting season in October, so
Oh,
I'm
my
not gonna get
goodness.
anything with that.
Just an FYI,
More-
people are
more
listening to us. I've
excuses.
got somebody texting me now that's
More
apparently interested in
excuses.
doing it. So,
All right.
Good word, travels fast.
So the only other thing that you'll see is just in the Capitol. So like I said earlier, this is the first time in a very long time that we have been fully staffed, and we've had to do some moving around and some rearranging so that everybody has their own working space. So we have a little bit there, $1,500 to kind of do some office restructure and move everybody around. We've kept maintenance pretty busy here recently. They've kind of been at our beck and call, just moving things around for us. So. Any other questions?
I'm good. Thank you.
So your big increase is adding the fees, the $175,000.
That's our big
And we could
increase.
get reimbursed up to $75,000
Right.
of that.
Right. And I think both of those are things that we'll see. They're going to help us in the long run.
Well, definitely agree with the FEMA issue. We got to get that under control, which we'll talk more about that tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'll tell the board about it later in our regular board meeting. But that's an issue that we are so far behind on. It's bad.
Yeah.
But we'll have more conversations in a regular board meeting.
All right. Any other questions for me?
I don't think so. Anybody have anything?
I'm good.
is it next? It was later in the
have
day.
you
If
for,
wanna do it
uh,
now.
Can we do ship?
Sure.
Yeah, we can go ahead and do SHIP on here. Absolutely.
We can skip ahead because
Where's ship at?
26.
So in the
Way down
last
there.
few years, I have split this code enforcement and ship supervision between me and the former community development directors, just for oversight purposes.
Services.
Now that LaDonna is into her role and doing exceptionally well with it as our CDD director, starting with this new budget year, the ship operations will now fall directly under her direction. It really goes hand in hand, obviously, with what they do in their department. She's in the building with Lydia and manages already half of her job duties. There's no need to continue that split. And so LaDonna will begin, October 1, she'll begin signing off on those types of things, whereas I've got the oversight on it now. So yeah, if LaDonna, while you're here, if we can,
Yeah.
Chairman, if you're good with that, we'll
So
do that
did
one
you
too.
have the?
Yes, well, she's
You
here.
get what I?
Item number
Yeah.
26, ship program.
Yeah. All right. So you can see there is a minimal increase there, but not a very large increase. As I discussed, salaries.
That's not the.
It's not the one that.
That's this is. Did you,
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes.
Yeah.
Hang on. Wait a second. We noticed an error on that while we were. Let me send you guys the revised one. That was while we were working. Yeah. While y'all were working, we were working also too over here. So we do have a.
So we have a version that that represents that policy adjustment that
Yeah.
that I discussed earlier instead of the
Sorry.
percentage based.
Yeah. That was an error on
Increase.
that one. Let me get to my right email. I'm sorry. We didn't want to confuse you guys and be sending it all while we were in the middle of this, so we were just going to do it when we got to it. Clint, if you're listening, you probably have it easier. Can you shoot that in an email real fast?
And we can go over it this way. I mean, we ain't gotta have it in front of us, but it's different than
Yeah,
what we have.
That was the only change, and it was instead of the 3%, that was a salary adjustment.
Yeah. So
Okay.
you'll see the total increase now is $45.67. So the difference there is the policy adjustment for the salary. So you'll see half of it here and half of it in community development. Only one employee. And then if we are looking at the operations, you'll see we kind of took out the electric and things like that was coming out of the administration part of SHIP. We felt like she's already in the same building as community development anyways, doing those code enforcement duties, so that administration portion could be better used on things that are truly administering the SHIP funds. So that's why you see those decreases there. We did increase the advertising a little bit. She is going to have more advertisement periods, hopefully this year. We did not request an increase in the recording fees. You'll see this year she did go over budget on recording fees. That was for some historical files, some things that should have been re-recorded at a certain point, and they
Cleaning
weren't.
up.
So she's been cleaning that up. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And she's done quite a bit of that this year. So that appears that we went over, but that will not carry on this year. You'll see the next change is software maintenance and then software module. So with the incoming CDBG funds, the Neighborly software that we currently use, the module that is used to process that information is not the same as the SHIP module, and you have to pay per module, and that's the $4,000 that you see there, is for that additional module.
And this is to process the CDBG?
It is, It is to
And we
process
can
the
pay for that out of the
CDBG.
CDBG
I'm
grant, but
fixing to
again, we
ask
have
you.
to
Yes,
show.
but we have to show it. Right.
Okay.
Yes, sir. CDBG administration can cover that.
Can cover that, and also, back on your lights and stuff,
Yes.
does that not have to show in your ship breakdown when you're doing your, requesting your ship, that they're paying lights, that they're paying? I would check on that.
What was the question, I'm sorry?
Do we have
Do
to
they
show
have to show
utilities?
utilities?
Yes, so on your annual report to the state, they will not let you submit it without something that shows you
So
have a
why are we
physical
taking it
space.
out of the
Well,
budget?
we took that out
No,
this
not
year.
on lights. No,
You have to
other
show that you're
operational-
using the administration
Right,
portion.
expenses, and we're using it on direct operational.
So just under
Service.
operational
Right,
is
yes,
covering the
I'm sorry,
lights?
yes,
and-
yes,
No
you have to
problem, I
show-
just know there's a
yeah.
line item on the ship that we have to show that
You
we're
have to show
using.
Using
some
that
of the
percentage,
operational funds
right.
for it,
Just
yes,
making
sir,
sure
you're
that we
right.
don't lose that.
And the
Right.
only
We don't
op-
have to show everything that we were.
the only
Right.
operation that we're
Not
showing.
Not
is
individual
off-
breakdown, but operational expense.
Yes, sir.
Right.
Fine,
right.
as long as we're covered.
And
we
that's
don't
why
get in
we
trouble.
kind of wanted to
They won't let us
redirect that so we
without
could
something.
use that where it's
And
better.
that's fine, but I just
better
want to make
service.
sure we don't get in trouble with SHIP by not having operational expenses.
right.
Because there's
Right.
percentage that we can use for that.
Yes, sir.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
And the same thing with your CDBG, they actually will pay for your software. It's not that the county has to pay for it, we
Right.
just have to budget for it.
We have to
So
show
it will
it.
become out of their money.
Mhm.
It won't be expense to the county, it'll be expense to the CDBG grant.
Right. But we still have to show
You
it.
have to show it. I agree, but I just for our new commissioner.
One thing that's not on this, that
Trying to help you on that.
no changes today, but that I want the three of us to be able to sit down and talk with Lydia about, is our, the heirs property stuff
Liz.
we've been doing with Liz. You guys know we've been having
Yep.
those classes to get people through that. We had committed, to look at, was really all we said, was, but to put something in our budget. LISC is doing that now without any funding from Baker County. They have said that they would like to continue in Baker County, but as a good faith effort, they want to see us budget money towards it as well. If we do not, we're gonna run the risk that they won't come out here anymore. Right now, they're not telling us that that's where it's at, but they have stated pretty heavily that we really need to be doing something on our end because they're operating off of a grant that they've received. So to be able to continue that, they'd like to be able to show match funds. So we had talked about being able to use SHIP program income. So when we've had quite a few loan payoffs that have come through in recent years, we've got a pretty steady flow of income from that. And that is what we looked at, so that would not come from the funds that we use to construct homes or pay our admin fees. But we can look at that, because I don't know that we've got all that program information right in front of us at this moment. But ideally, LISC would like to see the county budget $10,000 for that.
So what I'm gonna ask you to do, and it's no different than we ask anybody else who requests money from this county,
Mm-hmm.
is they're gonna have to fill out the form and send it in for formal budget request.
Well, it wouldn't be paid to LISC. It would be so that our SHIP clients can go through their services to be able to be used to do their heirs and estate
Who
planning.
are we
through.
paying?
We would be paying LISC, but because of our clients, so we wouldn't give the money directly to LISC.
One of the
Just without-
requirements, in order to qualify for SHIP funding, you have to outright own the property.
Well, I know
So
that.
a lot of those that we're getting, they don't actually own the property. There's
They
some
can't
sort of
qualify.
probate process that has to go through. And that's how we originally started working with them.
It wouldn't be a direct payment.
I had
to
a
LISC.
meeting with them,
Yes, sir.
full disclosure, in
Yes.
Jacksonville.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
They've
And I
been
ha-
heavily involved with the regional council.
And
Yes.
I have
Yeah.
asked them to come out here because I know the issues we were having in Baker
Yes.
County.
Yes.
I'm a
And-
contractor, so I know understandably how people do business out here.
Yes, sir.
It's just,
And
yeah,
they've
this is
been-
yours,
Yeah.
and it's not
And we
legal.
can't do that.
And they've been coming out every month for several months
So
now.
I'm asking is if they want $10,000 in a grant or whatever you want to call it from the county, it needs to be done the same way we do request it
This
from
would be a
everyone.
service that would be offered to the SHIP, either applicants or clients, to help get them qualified. So we would pay LISC like a vendor. They're not asking us to just give them $10,000. They're saying they would do this service because that's what their area of expertise is, and they do it at a very reduced rate. So they're not saying give it straight.
So
straight
budget
to us.
$10,000 so we
For
can just.
our clients
for
and go
our
through it.
clients.
Yes, sir. So
I
it's a
get what
service
you're
that we
talking
can help, especially if we have someone come in and we build a
They
new home
wanna be our
for them.
vendor. They don't wanna receive money from it. They wanna be our
Exactly.
vendor, and us have money to pay for the services that
Exactly.
they do for
And
us.
they're doing that at no cost now.
Right. So when we get a person that comes in and gets a new construction home built, right, we want to make sure that they've got the documents in place that should they pass while we've got a 20-year lien on their home, that all of that's in place for them to go to the heir that they want it
So
to go
what
to, and
would
it's
be
legal.
the process of us doing that?
The process would be budgeting for it in this SHIP budget now, and it would be part of the application and contracting process with our
Is this
SHIP
money
applicants.
that can be took out of the SHIP funds?
Yes, sir, it is. And what we're looking at is when those, say someone passes away and their family decides to sell their home and they've got a remainder left on that lien, they have to pay that money back to the county. So we get that in as program income, and we actually have that happen several times a
Oh, I
year.
know. Is it
And so
this
that's
in the
what-
SHIP budget now?
It is not. That's what I'm saying. We need
It's
to sit
not.
down and look at it because it's not in this. We needed to
Well,
add
let
it.
me tell
but-
you, from a contractor standpoint and from the people I know here in Baker County,
Mhm.
the way they do bid, it needs to be where we can help get the property legal, not only for their benefit, but for the
Exactly.
county's benefit if something was ever to happen.
Exactly. Especially if we have an applicant.
We shouldn't
come
even
in.
be building
But,
or
I'm-
supplying
Well,
money
and,
to
and
people
we're
whose
not,
the
and we
property
do
is
we're
not
not
legal.
right
They
now.
would not
And
be
we've had,
qualified.
unfortunately, prior
Turn
to us
people
working
around.
with LISC, we've had to turn people
So-
away
so
because of
what I'm-
that.
What I'm challenged with Sarah, what you're saying is, if we've already built a house and then the person dies and we got something leaned against it, I don't understand how they are working there. We should never be building on a house unless it's already got clear title and this is done, and
Yes,
this is
and
lien
that's
on it
true.
and everything.
That's true.
So if we've already, if these folks list comment and assisted the SHIP applicants
Mhm.
to clear their title, and it's a clear title and everything else, and they build on it, and it's got a lien on it,
Mhm.
I'm not sure
It
what.
would do both. So people that come in that don't have clear title, say like we talked about Miss Hall in the old Lusty Park earlier, right? So someone like that, let's just say it's a residential property, and she would like to come in and she needs help on her home, but it's in her dad's name, her dad's dead. So we could go help them go through probate to get that. On the opposite side of that, once you get a home, you're right, it has to be completely clean title for us to even help them. But once they're in the home, they don't have the resources to know how to prepare the right documentations or have the funds to be able to make sure that when they pass, the right heirs documents exist to pass that home on to someone else. So if I died and I didn't have it set up the way that it needs to be, my children would have to go through a probate process to then take on whatever I own, right? So what we're saying is when they come in and they get a home, if they don't have all that stuff set up, this would then help them do that. So that it wouldn't get, so later on, if their child needs to be able to live in that home, then we wouldn't run into another heirs, because what happens is those heirs then never go through a probate process.
But
So then
I
it
guess where
stays in mama's
I
name
guess where I have a
forever.
little bit of heartburn with that is I don't have a problem helping the low income that needs the assistance for SHIP and getting it cleared and getting it done. But once it's done, and there's been a lien filed on it, they can't sell it till we get our money back.
Correct.
But whoever gets it, it may have plenty of money.
They
to
have
take care
to
of it.
income qualify to stay in it.
They have to
Or they
say-
have to pay it back.
Right,
have to
they have to go
qualify
through
to
the
stay.
process
So we're gonna
themselves.
turn around and pay to clear it up for them, who income qualified. Anyway, I get the point of putting some money in here to do, and I'm all supportive of at least making sure that the applicants that come in that need clear titles, that we can get them clear titles to make sure we can get them into those homes, to get them to be able to get them to qualify, because there's a number of folks that truly need homes, the SHIP program, that quite frankly can't afford to do that. So, but I'm glad you asked the question. It is reimbursable through the SHIP program.
Yes, yes.
Okay. So this is something they're gonna figure out and show us where you want to propose to that, because it changes what we're budgeting here.
Yes, sir. We need, like I said, I'd like to look at the program income before I give you guys an official.
Because I know
proposal on that.
we've had a couple of things this past year.
I know Liz has.
Do you have that amount in there now? 10,000?
No, sir. It's in
No.
program income.
In,
Yes,
in
we've got
program
it in
income, we
program
do,
income.
yes.
Program income, that's what I'm
We do,
asking.
yes, sir. We've
we
got.
do in program income.
Yes, sir. We do.
This budget this year, so we can go ahead and move forward and don't have to wait till the next process.
Yes, sir.
We can agree to a budget this year, $10,000 out of program management
If you guys are good with that, yes.
to cover this.
Yes.
And then in the process, we need to look because it's ship money either way.
Exactly.
We need to look at a process of, if we can fund it through there, we'll just keep doing that, or the next time we might have to come out of the ship funds, general,
Right.
the
The
ship general.
recommendation would be
fund.
whatever the program income is to be able to support that.
And that's
Right.
why, and we can always pull it back once you don't have the funding for it.
Correct. Yes,
So
sir.
now I say pull it out of that fund that we already have.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I'm
And
sure
then-
there's some way to do that. If we only got $5,000 in program
Yeah,
income
that's
one
what we
year,
did for
we
the
could
year.
adjust
We
that
could adjust
amount.
that amount to do it.
Exactly. So I know we actually had I don't know what that balance is on that account that you've been putting that program income in, but we actually had a couple that come in that were pretty big payoffs.
Yeah, I know-
So there's
I know.
there's plenty of in there to cover the $10,000 if that's the number.
I know
want
the
this
property
year.
we're talking about, so I know the money's
Yes,
there.
the-
That's the
the-
reason I made the recommendation, we take it out of that fund, because
Yes, sir.
it's a
And-
fund nobody touches.
Exactly.
And it'll be a great thing to expend it on helping people be able to qualify
would.
to get a ship on.
Correct. Yes, sir. So if you guys are good with that, I would like to see.
I'm good with
$10,000.
that, but you have to
Okay.
talk to I'm only one commissioner.
Is there any heartburn to the $10,000 to
good.
that heirs property and from program income?
For a lot of purposes, this is a make and break for a family that
It
really
really
needs
is.
a house.
It really is.
And it's heartbreaking to be able to turn people to say, I'm
Just
sorry,
say-
we can't help you, and they don't have the money to go through
And
probate
they
to
can't
fix
do
it.
it, they just
Yeah,
can't.
Exactly.
we've
And
been
that's the
very
reason I wanted the
lucky.
project out here, because
We've been
we can
very
help
lucky
people.
this year with LISC. They've been
Yeah.
able to help a lot of people.
Yeah, and I'll say
But
this
my
too,
first
a lot of
year,
the-
we had to turn people
Yeah,
away.
yeah. And sometimes you'll run into with FEMA. If you
Same
if
thing.
you have
If you
this,
don't
this
own
is the
it
same problem with
outright.
FEMA. You won't qualify for FEMA assistance if the home is not been
All right, let's move on.
transferred.
We're good, I think that you got the consent of the board to
Got it. Cheryl,
To move on.
$10,000, please, ma'am.
All right.
See you this evening.
So we're gonna put a 10,000 increase, so that's funding we already have. so.
Yes, sir.
I think we're gonna solve this. Yeah, they got 10 minutes. and then I'm out.
Do solid waste first, Chris, is that what I heard you say?
Yeah, solid waste, I think is what we're, no.
I got to take a
Solid waste is first, okay.
Y'all keep on, I can hear you.
We're not doing nothing till you get back.
We are on, which one are you doing first?
You said solid waste.
Wait 1 minute, Dick.
And it's a solid waste without a percent in the title. It's version 3 without a percent.
Is this the one that you made any adjustments to while we've been in here?
Yes.
Clint, I know you're listening to me,
Yes.
man. Can you please email
He's-
that out for me?
He should have already done it.
Send it to the commissioner.
So
Yeah, he
why
should've
do we
already
do
done it.
one without a percent?
Yes.
You'll get to it.
It was sent out this, when I first got here, I went right in there. Cheryl sent it to me and then,
Yeah, without a percent, short, is part of our presentation on the increased fuel, tax, remember? We talked about the
Yep.
salaries, yes,
Okay.
sir.
So is he sending it to us or what?
I would ask that Clint does, he's just got an easier access to it, I'm working off of my desktop through my laptop and it's getting a little slow on me.
It's not operated?
It might be. Just for clarification, while we're all waiting to pull that up, Lydia's been listening and texted me, and she said, right now, we have a program income in the ship department of $69,000. So we could fund that heirs property assistance for several years, even if we didn't get any more funding on that.
Wait a minute. We got 6,900.
69,000.
Oh,
We had a home with a significant
Okay,
amount of
okay,
time left on it
okay.
that was paid off by the family. Did you hear that, Commissioner? Lydia just texted me while we were in here, and she's got program income right now of $69,000.
Yeah,
Sure.
that's 6 years.
Yeah,
You
so
got the
we plan-
first page.
Even if we don't need it, we don't have to expend it. if we
Exactly.
don't
It,
use
it can stay in that account, and we can use it in
You might
future
not
years.
use the 5,000 this year.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
and we just know spreadsheets.
Clint's emailing just to make sure you guys have the most recent one because there was a change while we have been in this.
What we in,
budget
solid waste or public works?
Solid
solid
waste.
waste, version 3, no percent.
Try it again, I see a 79,424
You
increase.
are on it. I'll switch places.
All right.
Okay, we ready?
We're ready.
Okay, where do y'all want to start?
Page 1.
Page 1, I don't ever understand page 1 until I can see what the breakdowns are.
It's before page 2.
That part I did catch.
They want to see the overage, which is 79,424.
Oh,
If
okay.
you guys are good with that, we'll go into salary
Get
first,
the right
Chris.
hat on for all that.
I don't think it's that we're good with it. Yeah, we just gotta
No,
go
I
with
mean,
it.
not good with it, just that you've written it down or typed it or whatever you guys are tracking it with over there.
Right.
And then if we'll go into salaries first, Chris. 79,424.
Yeah.
So moving to page 3, this is basically salaries, and this is based on, this is ain't 3% or 4 or whatever, this is based on the $3 per hour for the road department. But because everybody's union, we have to transfer that to these guys also because of the union, the way the union is set up. So this is where most of the increase comes from for the entire solid waste division.
And apparently I got the wrong one.
You should have got an email just a second ago.
I just did.
Got it?
So I'm looking at 79,424, which is the one that you're looking at.
Okay.
Okay, you got it pulled up right there on salary list. You have proposed increase of 3%.
Okay, pretend the 3% ain't there because it's a flat.
So it's a policy adjustment, not a 3%.
That's correct.
Okay.
So it's under 3%, Cheryl, but it should be a policy.
Yeah, it's under, yes.
It's in the wrong column, but it's, that's what I was
Gotcha.
getting at. It's not a
Okay.
3% because it's
I
it's
didn't
a
catch
policy.
that. Yeah, I didn't catch that. So that's the policy adjustment to keep everything in line with what we were discussing with the fuel tax. This is the 4 guys that are in this department that we have to keep up with because of the union.
So this is money that's gonna be made up with the fuel taxes. Is that what you're saying?
Well,
No.
can't do that. We can't use
So
fuel
this is
tax for
solid waste. So
Yeah.
these are people who would be brought up to pay scale for the people who's going to be affected by it.
We treat them the same way,
Yeah,
even though we don't
I was
use
making
them.
sure.
Yeah,
Yes,
we,
sir.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah, this is not gonna be.
This is not
this
fuel
gonna be
tax
paid by
money,
fuel
this is
tax.
money the county's paying
Right.
to bring them up to the pay scale to match the people that's gonna be covering
Correct.
the fuel tax.
Correct.
Very
Yes.
much like if law enforcement gets a pay raise,
Corrections.
there's corrections because
You're
they're all.
absolutely right.
Which is the way it should be, but I wasn't.
Well, yeah, that's.
Just
I mean,
clarification.
I couldn't ask for a raise for all my guys except for 4 of them and say, yeah, they're not gonna get nothing. I wouldn't even come in here and ask you all that, so.
Why?
He's getting delirious in here.
So that's pretty much it on everything on salaries. And then insurance.
So normal, our
Yeah, that's-
increases, yeah, there's nothing different on any of that.
Page 6 that's the standard stuff.
Go
Page 7, repairs and maintenance, line 46. We've spent more money than we actually had, so we actually have raised that to counteract what we were spending this year because the trucks are getting older, so it's costing more to get them fixed.
Plus the cost has went up on everything.
Everything.
Skyrocket.
Everything's-
Skyrocket. It's crazy.
And let's see. Yeah, down on the fuel, the 21%. We're asking for another. On the next page, we're going to be asking for a new truck, and that 21% encompasses the fuel that the new truck will be burning. But one of the trucks that's in solid waste now, we're not going to get rid of it because it's a roll-off. The roll-offs just can't come up with them. We're going to move that to the road department, and then we can use that with the new tree division that we're trying to start up with the road tax. Instead of buying another new truck for there, we'll have a roll-off for there. It wouldn't get worked as hard as they do in the
Don't run every
solid
time,
waste.
all the time.
Yeah, because those trucks run hard 10 hours a day, 4
Yeah.
days a week, and I mean hard.
Hard, yeah, I know.
up and down, pulling all the heavy stuff and everything, so. And that's basically it as on the expenditures. On that page, going to page 8.
Can I ask
Yep, go ahead. Where we at?
you change pages?
We're on operating. Yes, sir.
Hang on, I'm looking at salary list page. Are you on operating or
We're
salary?
operating, we already
Okay.
offered salary.
There's one item on there that is for a employee payout for Lieberman Solid Waste. What's
Oh,
that?
yes, that's the annual leave option that the union gets.
Remember we talked about it earlier in the
Okay,
sheriff's,
that's fine.
said
Just-
retirement
okay.
and union employees.
Yeah.
And you can see there's not many that meet the qualifications to get the. annual
Yeah,
payout.
solid waste, there's only
Okay,
one.
just want to make sure I know what it was. Thank you.
Okay. So, where we at? I'm moving to page 8. You good with page
Mhm.
7?
The different numbers in that. What the 20,000 increased wages for true up? What is for recycling site attendant? What is that for?
That's the recycling, the site attendants, the wages, their
Went
minimum
up.
wage has gone up.
Their
And-
contract employees, minimum wage and workers' comp increases are, so that contract increased by that amount.
How many employees is that?
How often does that go out for bid?
Not, it's 9 employees, right?
It's pretty specialized. We've kind of been-
Including the limb debris site? Or is it-
How many do we employ through that contract?
I think it's 9. For the, yeah, we pay CTEL.
I know at CTEL, I didn't know how many employees we had, or
Uh,
how many employees they had that were.
However many collection sites we have are accounted for this one. Yeah. 8, we have 8 collection sites
8 sites in the limb
But so
debris.
limbs.
in the limb debris.
And
yeah.
so it'd be
So
9
nine
employees.
total.
Well, and I'll say, in that same contract is used for our Shoals Park gate attendants, and we have 2 there. Now,
So-
although they're separated, we're not paying for that out of this,
Right.
obviously. But it's all the same vendor on those contracts.
So nine employees, and what was the budget, total budget for the?
320,000.
320 for
Yes.
9 employees.
They make minimum wage, but their workers' comp is pretty expensive because of the hazard material.
I'm not complaining.
Yeah.
I was just figuring in my head,
Yes, sir.
that's good,
Yes, sir.
5,000 a month.
that's good.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
The price
if
is
we can
good.
get our
We
people
could
to
hire.
haul the trash there.
We couldn't
Yeah.
hire, they're gonna leave beside the roads, quite cheap.
So those numbers are good, but our tipping fees and everything are steady gonna keep going up. Especially like on our 125 site. We're just about ready to have to put another compactor in there and have 2 compactors going because we just can't keep up with
Yeah,
them.
which site?
I think
125
so,
site.
too.
Yeah.
Cheryl, on this spreadsheet. look at
North
When they're by the solar plants.
North
It
They're
definitely
just-
needs to.
Yeah,
Terrible.
we're trying to work out something where we can figure that in, but I don't want to bring it into the budget because until I know for sure that we're going to be able to.
If y'all decide that where we get to point to move forward, that please let me have a chance to look at your layout before y'all commit to it.
Okay.
Please.
Yeah, it would, right now, it would almost be exactly like it is now. The other compactor would just be right beside it, but there'd be 3 lanes of traffic that could come
I'll
by.
ask us, please let me have a chance to take
Okay.
a look at it to. for
Like I said, we're
circulation and
working
flow,
on it.
because some of the previous ones that was laid out was just not.
Yeah, not
just-
practical.
I don't know why you would cross up traffic when you don't need
Mhm.
to. There's some things like that that just don't make
Yeah.
engineering sense to what was done, and it's too late. So just, if you're gonna lay it out, please let me have a chance
Okay.
to just look at it.
Like I said, that's something we're looking at because that site is so bad as far as the amount of trash that we're getting there, so.
This is what I'm gonna recommend is, as one commissioner, as we do some type of survey, find out where the people's coming from, and set up another site, so it will stop the congestion and all the traffic and all the trash going up 125. But if we can put one somewhere else where they're coming from, closer to them, it'll alleviate a lot of the trash that we're seeing all over the roads.
Oh, yes.
So we might want to look at, to me, I think you need to look at, instead of adding a compactor, adding a site
Okay.
to keep people off the roads and their trash all over everywhere.
Well, we got land scattered throughout. We'd have to see how it works as far as getting electric and all to it. But yeah, that's definitely a way to go.
Just if you could do a survey with where you're from, where you're from, where you're from, where.
Well, most of them don't want you to know where they're from because they're not from this county.
Well, that's the thing.
Yeah, well, you can't stop them. All they gotta do is hit one person in there with a driver's license and they're coming. We've come up with every way possible, putting placards on their cars so, if they can scan them and see if that car's
I
supposed to.
know I
but it
go
just-
to a site in Georgia, I had to go to the office in downtown Dublin to get a placard to put on
Yeah.
my truck to be able to go into their trash. If you pull in there without that, you don't dump their trash. You don't dump trash.
You don't in other counties here too.
Well, that's what, we're looking into that.
Stop it.
But if you start talking to some of the people, it's like, if I go here and y'all tell me I can't dump, and then I go here and tell me you can't dump, I'm just pull on the side of the road and dump it, and y'all can pick it up there. It don't matter to me. So it's an ongoing battle.
I understand what you're going through, but the thing is, there's got to be a system.
Yeah, the placard is what we've come up with. We think would work the best. It would be a lot of money out front because you'd have to, how many thousands of placards we'd have to have, but.
Yeah,
It'd be a good time for assessment evaluation too.
So,
Pay for it.
but yeah,
Look at door to door again. That's the only way you're gonna stop all this trash on our roads. Because if you look
I've
at
been
the
preaching
counties
that
that
for
have
16 years and
door-to-door,
we ain't went nowhere with
they
that.
do
So.
not
Nope.
have
Yeah.
this problem.
door to door is the best way to go. We still couldn't close the sites though. We'd still have to leave the sites
Yeah.
open, but it would be for no garbage, but we'd still have to have something.
Yeah.
Maybe not all,
Very
9 of
few
them.
you'd have to.
We'd have to leave a few up there just for people that are throwing mattresses out instead, otherwise we're gonna be picking them all up on the side of the road.
My recommendation, I ain't saying that you don't need another compactor, but I would think that we need to keep as many, if you just put more compactor, I mean more people.
Yeah.
And eventually, you're just gonna have so many people. I've been up there and people out to 125 parking on the side of the road to get in there to dump their dump.
Yeah.
It's gonna become a hazard.
It is kind of dangerous sometimes trying to.
228's the same way.
So we need to, if we're gonna do anything, we need to look at that.
Okay. It's not a problem. Okay, any more questions on page 7? Page 8, y'all like that one because there's a lot of minuses. It's mostly minuses. Let's see.
You're adding a new vehicle.
Yeah, we're adding a new vehicle on that. You'll see that on 9. We're asking to add another vehicle.
Okay.
One roll-off truck. We probably need a few dumpsters and everything, but we're gonna try to get by this year with them. We're gonna try to see what we can do repair-wise. So we're only asking for the truck. We've got one truck that's here. We should be delivered any time now, any day now. Of course, I said that 2 weeks ago too. And so this will be an addition. And then once we get the one this month or next month, then like I said, we're going to move one of our oldest truck to the road division for use in the new tree division that we're starting up next year.
So if you was to order this truck this year, it'd be a year before you got it.
It'd be at least 1 year from. This time we ordered one last year and we haven't got it yet.
Yeah.
It's in town. It's at the place and they're putting all the rollers and whatever they got to do to get it to us. But it is in Lake City right now. So yeah, we're looking basically a year before we get it.
This is the one of 2 that we requested in current budget year, Mr. Chairman. Remember, we actually ended up reducing it.
We
So
had
we got
to.
the one, and this is the
This would be
second
to
one.
replace it.
Yes, sir.
That was gonna be my next question.
Yes,
Was
sir.
this
We
the
had-
one that we was gonna, we
Last
had
year,
requested 2 last year?
you're right. We had 2 last year. We reduced it to 1, and this will be the.
So this will be that one.
This will be that one, and it's got an Allison transmission.
I like Allison transmission.
Yeah. They called us after I said they can't get them. They called us about six weeks later and said, "Hey, we worked out a deal with them. We can get them again. And do you want one? with that. And we said, what's the price increase gonna be? And he said, well, it's what we already quoted.
That's good. You can't
So
beat
they
'em.
left it alone, yeah.
You can't beat them. All right.
Added to the summary page, the very first page, the solid waste assessment. We estimate coming in at $405,405. You got your grant, $90,900, and you got New River. Right now, we have collected $288,000. Estimate $300,000 unless somebody on the board or somewhere else.
And that's on the
is ready.
propane, on the gas,
Have
the
we got any
methane.
more? Is it gonna be increased?
I
Have they
talked to
about-
New River just a few weeks ago, and they said that the revenue should stay the same.
Mhm. We'll know more next week. We got a board meeting next Thursday.
Okay. So general revenue is going to reimburse this fund $519,625,
And that's as it looks like, okay.
which is
About average, yeah.
Okay. Anything else? Any questions?
Chris, you got at least 2 sets of speed bumps in that budget somewhere.
That's in the road. We had, not in the solid
Well, we
waste,
in
but
solid
yeah, have
waste.
that,
Yeah, we're going to, we still haven't finished our parameters on how we're gonna put that in, but yeah, I know we're gonna have a
In one
bunch.
of your budgets, you need,
That's solid.
I'm tired of hearing about it.
Yeah,
Solid.
it's gonna, for now, it's gonna, because of everything, it's gonna come out of operating. Cause we don't, how do you budget it? Do we budget 5 of them? Do we budget 10? I mean, we're getting requests for them on 127, 125. We're getting.
Well, that's easy to answer.
Yeah, well, it's easy to answer, but still.
Believe me, I've heard from
We made changes while we've been here.
I think we do need to budget some.
Yeah. Well, like I said, right now, we're gonna pull them out of operating.
Okay. Sorry
This-
for being on solid
And
waste.
solid,
today.
and not in solid waste.
This
in,
right here should be a
the
policy
road.
adjustment, correct?
Yeah, it's in the wrong line. On Public Works, the raises are on the percent column, but they
Yeah.
need to be moved to.
Well,
policy
because I don't
adjustment.
have access. I've already got policy adjustments in there. And they have the descriptions of the longevity. So I just kept it under raises without a percent.
Gotcha.
But I'm versatile.
What's your
My
summary
salary,
sheet on
Increase of $29,442,
29,442?
less than 1%.
Okay. And this is assuming the money coming in on the fuel tax
Yes, sir.
is already
Only through
included?
January, though. Actually, I think April, I'm sorry. It starts in January. We didn't account for any changes until April.
Okay.
And to let you know, also update that state still has yet to give revenue figures, updates to us. They suspect in August. So I still do not have any gas revenue.
So what do you got plugged in now?
Last year's.
Last
Yep.
year. We just use the same numbers until we get firm numbers.
And I'm hoping we don't take a loss.
Okay.
What's your capital outlay on this? The employees we know, I mean, that's pretty simple, basic insurance. The,
That's
the
your union
proposed
rates.
increase for the, I mean, this is stuff that we all know that this is
Right.
coming.
Mr. Chairman, before we get too far into that, I just wanted to make sure everybody is aware of, the state of Florida made some guidelines to how unions get qualified and remain in certification annually. We actually had a conversation with the union rep, with our Public Works Department, last week. And we have been notified that they have fallen below the 60% threshold required from the state. And say they are, in the middle of working through a non-certification, and they will not seek recertification. So obviously this year didn't have any additions to the budget based on union request. It was because of the increase in the fuel rate. But unless there are any changes, we will not have any union discussions or negotiations moving forward.
That's,
Because the union, like I said, has fallen below the threshold.
that's good news to me.
Yes.
Sure.
Just making sure you all were aware of that.
I won't give
Well,
you
and
no-
here's the thing about it, from my standpoint,
Sure.
is we try to do what's right by the employees, whether the union or not.
Exactly.
And that's not gonna change.
And that's not gonna change with what
No.
we're doing.
No.
We need to do what's right each time. I don't think we have a big challenge with the union where we have conflicts where they file grievances and things. We try to treat the
We don't.
employees right. So
Double click on
from
the
my
increase.
standpoint is
On 13.
from my perspective, we need to do what's right by the employees regardless of whether they're union or not.
Go to the
Right.
114.
Well, my
Double click on it.
perspective is, I agree with everything you just said, except they don't have to pay for it.
Exactly.
Right.
I hate to pay the people losing their money that they need,
No, double
that
click
they
on it.
earned, they worked for, they done everything to get, and then the union takes it for nothing. And then they're telling how much money they've got over the years, and now it's not doing them a bit of good. So I'm gonna get off my soapbox, but I'm gonna tell you,
That whole thing.
that's how I feel about unions. They'll take your money,
Mhm.
they'll put you on the picket line, but ain't none of them lost anything.
Right. And I've tried
The
to explain
people
that.
is the ones that sacrifice it. It's not the unions.
Pull the whole thing and increase the increase.
So I'll get off of that. Let's go on.
We agree, Commissioner. Just wanted to make sure
What's
we
that
could
change?
share
That's what I
the-
was talking about.
share the good news.
We will take care of our employees, we always have.
All right, we want to talk operating under this one then?
Yeah, I'm off of that one. Let's move on.
All right, page 7, Chris.
Oh, hold
Okay.
Oh,
on.
sorry.
Is that, are we good now?
Is it an error on something?
I guess it's still showing the same thing, right?
Yes, sir.
For the increase?
Yeah, because it pulls this one in. It pulls that there.
Because it was 86 or something like that. But now it's 291, so why didn't the increase change?
This is 291.
Okay. No, the request is still a request.
Yes.
Okay. It just changed the first sheet from 386 to 291, but that didn't change the bottom because the bottom was still the same.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Chris, on this particular budget, under the salary list, which is page 3, I just noticed at the bottom, we have overtime budget at $95,000.
Hang on, page,
There.
okay, what'd you say again?
At the bottom of the list, we have to account for some overtime at 95,000. Is there things that we could do to help reduce that? I look at that, I see if we had 2 full-time positions, we'd still be probably less than the 95,000, so.
I don't-
Is that?
I can tell you, I can give you my personal opinion. The $95,000 is related to storm damage issues and
And that's-
FEMA requirements. And if you don't post your overtime, you're not going to, through overtime, you don't want to get reimbursement through FEMA. They got to be paid through overtime on the job that they're working on, so
Yeah, because they will not pay straight time,
they don't pay straight now.
period.
So if you don't
And you
code
show
it as overtime, you don't get FEMA reimbursement. I'm becoming a FEMA reimbursement.
Yeah, there's all kinds of crazy
Not
crazy
getting
things.
reimbursed now.
You can budget it, don't mean you have to use it. But I understand what
I'm
you're
fine with
saying.
that, I mean,
Yeah.
'cause this is a restricted account, it's only coming out of
Right.
that amount. I'm just trying to figure out, if
And we
from a
don't-
budgetary standpoint, if it's legitimate to do what we're doing, I don't have a problem with it, but on the same token, if we could reduce cost and have more
Right.
employees, that saves the county money, gives more benefit year-round, then I'd be all for it, because, look, at some point, you can work so hard, when you get overtime, it's great to get the extra money, but sometimes you just want some time off.
Yeah.
That's all I'm asking if we need to have it like this for that reason, I'm not opposed to it. I'm simply asking, understanding is there anything that we could do that would be better for your department rather than programming it like overtime?
I don't think so, only because of what Commissioner Anderson said about the FEMA. When we get, we're not gonna get a storm this year at this county. We're not getting no storm for 5 years. But if we do, and we don't have that listed, it'll make it easier on us, because we don't have to do any paperwork, because they're not gonna grant us any money. But, and,
That there shows your history. It's October was the storm, and then this is all the rain. It's the peaks of your overtime.
yeah,
It's 18,900 so far this year.
so.
Again, I don't have a problem with
Yeah.
what you got programmed, just simply the question is if we could structure it a little bit differently and get you some employees, but this is the best way
If-
to structure it. And I get it, because we need to make sure whatever we do, we get reimbursed from FEMA,
Mhm.
and this is the way to do it. I'm not advocating differently, because the good thing about this particular fund is it don't matter what we do, it's not coming from general revenues. It's
Right.
only this fund, it can only be used for roads, so
Right.
how is, are we using it in the best manner? And if we are,
If, I'll look into that. I don't think we can move it.
yeah.
And like I say, it's
If it's standard,
high, it's
if
probably.
it's standard overtime, if this is really set up for overtime for those critical times and things, that's one thing. If it's overtime because it's happening
Right.
week after week,
It's not. You
and we
see
could
that.
get, we could hire a new person to help reduce that overtime fee
Right.
and help give everybody a little bit of relief, I'd be good with it.
Yeah.
But that's fine, whatever you.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
almost, it's some type of an emergency, or storm related in some
Yeah,
way.
you'll find in the FEMA guidelines, even if they're working their 8-hour shift, but if they're working on something storm damage, even though they don't have 40 hours, you still have to pay them overtime to get the FEMA money.
Right,
They don't pay straight time.
right. They don't,
It
well,
code's different.
the whole,
I'm
it's
good.
a headache.
I'm good.
Yeah, it's a
I'm
headache
good.
just trying to.
I
Get it
agree
all.
with you. I think it's
No, I'm
crazy,
just
but
trying
that's
to
just the
think of
way it
ways to
is.
try to make it better for you if it works out that way. But there's so many strings comes with FEMA. We deal with them around that as well
You
and
know,
things. And it's
yeah.
just, I get it.
It's
I'm
crazy.
just trying to figure out if that's what it's for, then okay. But if it was standard overtime,
Yeah, that's
okay.
that's basically all it's there for. It's for
Moving on to
storm related
operating.
services. Okay, all good? Going to page 7.
No.
Okay, let's see. Page 7, the communications, line 41 is basically, we just had some, we're spending a little bit more than we did last year, so we just increased it to make sure we don't do that again. Oh, wait a second, professional services, I skipped that one at the very top. Line 31, that's the same thing with all of these storms and everything. We're having to bid more stuff, bid more stuff, we're having to advertise more often and everything. And the community, or the professional, the engineers and everything that we're having to get is, we're just using more of that than we have since I've been here. So that's why we're asking for that increase. Communications is strictly that, it's just because it's gone up. The rentals and leases, this is partly from storm when we had to rent equipment. This is line 44. We had to rent equipment to combat the storms stuff and everything. So this is basically just to get that back in line to where it needs to be in case another storm and we have to rent something. Line 45 is basically just for the new people that'll be coming in. Advertisement, that I said that earlier, that's just because we're having to advertise more for everything. And road materials, just because we are completely out of millings and stuff, and we use a lot of that during the storm, so we're gonna end up having to buy more if we get any serious problems. We're getting real low on our millings. Because millings you can put down in the middle of a wet road and drive over it, where lime rock is worthless, dirt's worthless. So gotta have something that we can drop on the road to hold us over until we can get back after it dries up a little bit. And that's it for page 7. page 8. We took the land off of the, we haven't spent the 100,000 that we've got sitting in there right now yet. We're fixing to start spending some of that. But we took that out. That was out of the land and the buildings. The equipment, we're just taking that down because we basically just don't need all the equipment this time around. Same thing with the vehicles. Loan payment is what it is. And that's pretty much it on page 8. Page 9 details what's going on page 8.
Most of that's just our lease payments that we can't take off, and then the new equipment that we need for the additions that we're doing with the increase in fuel tax. But again, we're not planning to do anything with that, until April.
Yeah,
So
that'll be
we
the
wanna make
very
sure
bottom
that-
line.
Yeah.
Line 17 is not, we're not expecting to even look at spending that until April. And let's see, everything else is, let's see, motor grader payments, that's existing. Then if you look down to like page, or line 6, line 7, 8, 9 are all just additions to the equipment that we already own to enhance what we have. We're cleaning out ditches. Well, let's get a wide ditch bucket instead of just having a regular backhoe bucket. Let's get a wide ditch bucket so we can move a little faster down the thing. Trimming trees, we're adding a, let me see where I'm at, the drum mulcher, that's line 9. That's just goes on one of our machines, and that's what we use to trim the sides of the roads and everything. Small equipment, self-explanatory. The 2 Massey's, 12 and 13, that's the lease payments that we have right now. And then I got a new truck in there for me. And then my truck is going to be retained, and that truck is going to go to whoever we put in that's taking over the tree division. So they'll have a good vehicle for pulling around what they need to or whatever.
What's your truck, 2,500?
No, mine's only 1,500.
And they're gonna be pulling what?
It's basically they'll be pulling the utility trailer, or they'll be in another truck. This is basically like a chase vehicle. If they're,
Okay. Cause that 1,500 lot is not
it's
gonna
not a
last
pulling
long.
truck, yes.
Pulling truck.
No,
It's more just a management truck.
right. And then 17 is that's the 2 new Massey's, and on this one we've actually looked to purchase these through the fuel tax. Like I said, this won't happen until down the road. Now the previous ones we got them on lease payments, so we could basically put these back to lease payments, and that would drop us down. I didn't get a price on the leasing this year, but I'm going to say it's going to be probably $30,000 a year now to lease them, because I'm sure everything's gone up. Looking at what we did on the first one was 24, the second was 28, so this one might go as high as 32, 33. So we could go to a lease and save a little bit of that money.
After 5 years,
After
after 5 years of use of this equipment, what's the condition of it?
It depends on what's going on with them. One of the pieces of equipment that we purchased 6 years ago, because we only leased the tractors for 4 years. What we purchased, what's the Massey or the Kubota? That's an 18. Isn't it? It's an 18. It's still one of our best machines. It just depends on the actual machine. Some of them will last, and some of them you don't. So we've been having trouble with the Massey's as far as the sensors. Everything we get's got sensors on it everywhere. Everything's got a sensor on it, and the sensors are it's ridiculous. Every time we turn around.
You said which kind was less than 6 years so far in great shape? Kubota.
Kubota.
So why aren't we focused on getting Kubotas rather than Massey's?
Because
Because
rolls
when-
in the Massey's.
When a Kubota breaks down, it's broke down, and you're gonna pay for it. They worked on one of our Kubotas, one that we got rid of, and we put I want to say $32,000 in it in repairs. Now this ain't in one time. This is, and when it was done,
2,000.
and when it got through, all they said was well, let's go in and try to change this. they won't get, once they replace the electrical, you own it. So,
Right. Well, the
I
reason
fought
I-
them
the
and
reason I
fought
asked
them.
that question, and again, is at $150,000, we had $30,000 a year for lease payment. So 5 years, we either turn it back in and start
And get nothing
again,
for it.
and you have nothing for that, or if there's truly has good usable years left on it, we would be better off to purchase, and that's why I was asking.
That's why we left it on purchase this time. And, that's up to y'all. If y'all decide, no, let's not purchase it, it's no problem changing it.
But we need you guys that know the equipment, know
Yeah.
what is good, and what's gonna happen, and to give us some guidance on what your recommendations are.
Well, right now, the Massey's we're having good luck with them. It's a sensor. A sensor goes down and it shuts the whole machine off. But everybody's having a sensor problem. We had a John Deere tractor. They couldn't figure out what to do with it, and they've replaced everything on it. We ended up having to sell that. So it's all sensors. If we get lucky and we get one that the sensors aren't giving us a lot of trouble, then we might get 8-9 years out of the whole thing. So
With this lease, do they service them or are we servicing them?
we service them.
What about maintenance?
Maintenance.
Under the lease, engine quits, tire blowout, not tire, but
Anything,
engine.
a lot of the stuff is covered. For sensor, the 4 years, I think 4 years, everything's covered, except labor. All the parts are covered, but not labor. Labor and parts and labor, I think, are only the first 1 year.
And that's what's under your operating expense, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So it's it's like buying a new car. You don't know what you're going to get till you get home and see what it's going to do.
So over the years, 4 years we've had them, they've been sound like to me they've had maintenance issues and you've had to have them fixed. But it's only charged us anything but nothing but labor in the 4 years.
It's mostly just the labor. And
I'm-
some of that they waive because they look at it and say, well,
They look at
they
it,
should have
so-
been fixed in the factory. We're going to waive that.
So I'm looking at a different option. I think that we need to go right back into a lease and let them worry about the parts, because parts are going through the roof right now. Everything that you try to do is going through the roof. And we know exactly what we're gonna have to pay every month for the tractors with a lease, and not have to figure a $30,000 or $15,000 breakdown.
And
No,
in 5 years,
in
you're
5
going to
years,
start again, you're going to keep it good, you keep.
Yeah.
You got good equipment now.
Usable, reliable equipment that you
Right,
know is
yeah.
going to be there to serve you. Because when you start getting into equipment that is 6, 7, 8
Right, it's
years
gonna
old,
break down.
you start having expenses to it. So the reliability is a key factor there as well.
And they don't use those things. It's not like they don't sit out there like mine does, and I get out there every 2 months and I get on it and do something.
Yeah,
Them things are run.
This year's, since I've been here, this has been the best year we've had for tractors. We're on our 5th trip.
So
Last
we-
year, I think we got a total.
And
of
we done
2.
that because we got good equipment.
Yeah.
You start getting equipment that's breaking down, you got 2 sitting over there and 2 working, then you got issues.
Yeah.
You got 4, you got
So-
your new ones running, then you ain't got no issues.
Yeah, this has really been good. I mean, but with these rains that we're getting, we're still. We still can't keep up, even though they're going. Caterpillar's real quick about getting over here to get them fixed.
I just feel so much better with a lease, so we don't have surprise costs. This way we got fixed costs, we know what's gonna cost us no matter what.
I agree with Chairman on that. And then we know by that time what our fuel tax is bringing in.
Exactly.
So
I mean,
we'll
that's,
see.
I like that's a good point as well. So
Yeah, and instead of going all
I
out.
think what you're hearing as consensus is to change that $150,000 purchase to a $30,000 lease.
Well, that'll put it into a negative.
I just think it's better.
Well, I mean, then we'll have a definite, by next year, what are we seeing
And it
true
might be a point
numbers?
where you wanna trade 2 of them and keep
Sure.
the one that's running good.
That's right.
Yeah.
I mean, we have
Thing is
options.
reliable.
Right.
So it works
What
good.
do we have?
Yeah.
You can plan your work better. You know what the guys have got to do. You know they can go out there and get on it and go
Right.
to work. So
If it breaks down,
when
you
you start
call it.
adding in.
I'd like a negative on there because I don't know if the 2 and the white is going to have a negative.
So if we, anything else? I'm trying
Hang
to
on
push-
now, since I'm deleting, I might be adding back some stuff.
No, sir.
Ooh.
Oh,
No, sir.
oh yes, sir. Hey, Well, they always say if you don't know, you don't know if you don't ask. So, I'll defer till later. But okay, yeah, I'll get some prices on some leases and go from there.
You
And-
already planned for one or two of those?
2.
Okay.
What'd you say
And
they were
I'm
about
thinking-
30,000?
I'm thinking it's gonna be around 33,000
Each?
each, yes.
Yeah, okay.
So that'll take,
I just did-
200,000
I
on.
put 35,000 on it just to be safe, and that's a decrease of 198,602.
Is it a decrease of what?
198,602.
Makes sense.
You got to add 70,000, right?
Did I do that wrong?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
it's
I'm coming
total.
up with,
I'm getting the same thing. I simply went to the,
I went to 9 right there at the very bottom.
Right.
Line item 23. 35,000 is what I plugged in.
Yeah.
Go to the front page.
oh, you're looking at, okay, you're looking at the
198,602.
total, okay.
Let's
I
call
was-
it a day.
No, I was,
Now I'm gonna go back and help you spend a little money.
That's right.
I
There
don't
was
think
a couple of empty items.
that the road department needs to buy $1,500 trucks. Y'all shouldn't be running anything less than a 2,500. Because they break down twice as much as a 1,500 than a 2,500 heavy duty is gonna do. If you need to hook up to a trailer and get something to somebody, you can't do it in a 1,500. If you have a 2,500 truck, you can do it. So I think you're shooting yourself in the foot by buying 1,500 trucks for an industrial road department.
yeah.
If you're gonna have a 1,500, you might as well go buy you an Isuzu pickup.
don't go buy the Suzuki pickup.
I was gonna say, they even still make those.
Hey, I had one, it was a bad little old truck. It run forever,
So
it was a
that, you
diesel.
got 55,000.
My personal
For
opinion
1,500.
again is I don't think that the road department should be, road department or a maintenance department should be running around in 1,500 trucks. They just not, they're not made for trailers, they're not made for throwing stuff in the back of them. They're made for Mark Hartley going to school every day.
Right.
I mean, it's not,
Driver's ed.
it's just not, to me, I don't know what the other commissioners feel, but I just think it's,
Maybe I need a bigger.
I mean, that makes sense.
we're creating ourselves an issue.
So we can increase that capital purchase from the 55 to probably 75 to go up.
And then you go
I
into a
haven't-
diesel and you got longevity in your engine, more power too. I wouldn't buy gas.
Okay, I haven't looked at any of those. I
You're looking at
couldn't
about
tell
$65,000,
Yeah.
65, 70, but it's twice the truck
you. Yeah.
Yeah.
for $10,000
And the
more.
diesel's gonna last.
We can make that adjustment.
I would definitely make that adjustment, and then you could pass those down, and you're
Yeah.
passing down something.
Okay. Makes sense.
And if we're gonna
So,
spend
so on the
perfect
vehicles, we're
sense.
gonna change it from 55, let's put 70K in there.
70, that'd be plenty.
And with that now, oops. Where's that one down?
And when the other 1,500 wears out, make sure you replace it with a 2,500. Or
Put
tear yours
70.
down and you get the new one.
So 183.
183,602.
Did you say 75,000?
70.
It's gonna be 70, 75 for a new truck.
Do you need a toolbox and all that stuff?
Well, he can pay that equipment out.
We need a winch on the front,
A lift kit.
lighting package,
We,
new radio.
we're looking at, we're always looking at lighting packages, just for safety out there.
Lighting is a good idea.
Yeah. Yeah, we're constantly looking at all that kind of stuff.
2 minutes? 2 minutes?
Yes. We're gonna take 3:30. We'll be back at 3:30.
All right, well, thank y'all.
Thanks.
Chris. All right, we'll go back into our budget workshop. Where we're at, number 22, 911 I think is where we wanted to go.
Number 22.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, sir.
Mr. Chairman, before I start, I'd like to say a couple words, okay?
Yes, sir.
I want to express my sincere gratitude for the opportunity to serve as the Fire Chief of Baker County Fire Rescue over the past 6 years. It's been an honor to help guide this department into a new era of professionalism, modernization, and community service. Together, we built a fire rescue organization that reflects dedication, resilience, and service to others. I'm especially proud of the significant progress we've made in modernizing our equipment and facilities, improving training standards, and securing vital funding. Over my tenure, I've personally written and secured nearly $6 million in grants and appropriations, averaging close to $1 million per year, allowing us to make critical improvements with minimal taxpayer burden. As you see by the list I sent you, or I brought you, everything that's in green is zero match. So these achievements are a testament of the shared vision and support of this board and the tireless efforts of our outstanding team. But beyond the numbers lies the true impact of those investments, lives saved. In 2020, I wrote an EMS matching grant to purchase a Lucas device, a mechanical CPR system that now plays a vital role in our resuscitation efforts. That device directly saved the life of Ryan Jacobs, a young member of our community. Without it, and without the training our crews received to use it, Ryan would not be here today. And obviously we had other factors too, the hospital and everything. It's been nearly 5 years and I saw Ryan's mother recently. And she said, "I am thankful every time I think about you for writing that grant. It saved his life." It's one thing to talk about tools and training, but it's another to see them bring somebody back to life.
That's right.
These are not just budget line items, these are lifelines. These are results of a long-term vision that you supported and continued investment in the excellence of care we can provide. The tools we secure, the training we pursue, and the personnel we support, it all matters because it all touches the lives of people who matter. As I present this year's budget, is carefully aligned with our mission to safeguard the health and safety of both our residents and dedicated personnel. I respectfully ask that you continue to invest in the needs outlined as they are essential to the continued growth and success of our department. After much prayer and reflection, this will be my last budget presentation, as I have decided to retire from my position May 3rd, 2026, following 17 years of service to Baker County in my hometown. I believe this timeline provides a necessary window for an orderly and effective leadership transition. It will allow us to complete key initiatives already underway and give the county ample time to conduct a thorough and thoughtful hiring process for the next chief. I am fully committed to ensuring a seamless handoff, including mentoring future leadership, maintaining organizational momentum during the transitional phase. I believe that by remaining in my role until May 2026, I can best support the department, our personnel, and the citizens we serve. I close with the same gratitude that has guided my service. Thank you for trusting me with something as sacred as public safety. It has been an honor of a lifetime to serve this community. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Are you gonna be here in the meeting this afternoon or not?
Yes, sir.
I'll hold my comments until then.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
And I would respect that the commissioners hold their comments until in the public meeting.
Thank you. As I'm presenting the 2025-26 rescue budget for this coming year, obviously we've got some increases, and there's some things obviously we don't have any control over. It is my portion. I'm not sure which one Cheryl's got. It's okay, she's got the 3%. So if I say numbers a little bit different, I've got the 5% in my hand. But the one thing that I have added to this budget I'm on page 3 of the salaries. is at the bottom, is the relief firefighter EMT position, one for each shift, okay? And obviously, we've talked to each of you individually, and we appreciate y'all meeting with us, whether it be myself or Chief Lanton or both of us, and we appreciate that time. We're over our budget in overtime this year between the EMS department and the fire department. I believe that if we had an extra person every day, that it would help us to alleviate some of this overtime. For this year, our average has been 34 shifts we've had to fill per month. That is, part of that is that we've got 2 people that are in the military. One is on continuous deployment. She's on deployment now and it actually won't be back until February. And anybody that's willing to be one of the 9% and serve our country, I think we've got to support them. We've got another young man that went into the Army last year. He was gone for nearly 6 months. So that's part of what's driving the overtime. We had employees on FMLA. We had some people leave and go to other departments, and it takes time to fill those. We've tried to utilize people that are in what we call the on-call position, which are, or some places would call those part-time position. They're 0 benefits, and they have a lower rate of pay normally. We've tried to do that, but honestly, most young people today, they're looking for full-time employment. They'll pick up a day maybe every month or 2, but that's about all we get out of them. Last year, I had it calculated in both the fire and EMS budget for over $200,000 worth to cover between overtime and on-call to cover shifts that we needed covered. And I think that money would be better spent, and that's $200,000 just payroll, not counting FICA or the retirement. So that I would estimate that's around $300,000, which I think if we would be good stewards of our money, I think taking that and putting it into three people, one on each shift, and giving us an extra person every day. So what that would mean is that we would have 10 people on duty instead of 9. They would float wherever the spot was open that day, and I guess the question is what do you do if you have a day where you have an extra? Well, all of our lieutenants we have about 56 different duties that we split up between all our lieutenants and the 2 chiefs and our admin clerk. There's a lot of different things that we have to do, whether it be from EMS to fire prevention. There's a lot of different jobs. Somebody to check the hoses, there's just a lot of different things that they have to do. If we had a day that we had an extra person, we would let that lieutenant get into more of an admin role and come and do like say the IT lieutenant. He'd be able to come and work on projects while he's in the IT role that day. And then he would go back to his regular shift for the next shift. So that's just an example. I'm not sure if you know how hard it is to try to work on a project if you're getting interrupted going on calls and things like that. So you might get 1 or 2 hours on the project by the time you're going on calls doing normal duties. So that's a consideration, and obviously we're just in the beginning of this. So the proposal is for 3 firefighter EMTs that would be able to float, and we went ahead and did the minimum that we could use them anywhere. I know this is assigned to rescue, but I didn't think that just hiring just a straight EMT would be as efficient, because we could take a firefighter and EMT and put them pretty much anywhere unless it was somewhere we had a paramedic need. So that's on the bottom of page 3. It's $164,000 plus you have the FICA and the FRS.
That's what makes up the 116.
Yeah, I would.
Keep scrolling on more. And then keep positions later on more.
Yeah, that was from last year. She's showing, right? I took those off.
Are they supposed to be off? Because I saw them on there.
No, they're not. I didn't include them. That's what I was doing, was replacing them on. I didn't include those in my calculations.
The on-call thing.
Right, the on-calls. That's what those numbers represent.
Because we cut these out.
Those,
Yes.
yes, ma'am.
There you go.
There we go.
Now, can you go back to the summary page real quick, Cheryl? Thank you.
The one thing I did reduce was anticipating that they were gonna help us reduce overtime. I reduced it. Last year, we had $105,000 for extra overtime, not part of the overtime that's built into their salary, but the extra overtime that our employees, when they work an extra shift, they fill a shift. We had $105,000 in here. I dropped that to 50 because if we have an extra person, that if you have 3 people extra, that's 30 of the 34 shifts that would be covered. Essentially, if you do the math from the average of this year, last year it was 20, 28, and I think the year before it's 32, 31. So there's been a trend that we've needed at least 30 people. Maybe, I think 2023, we needed 28 shifts filled. So in a month, that's a month time frame. So if you had a shift person every day, that's 30 or 31 shifts a month. So, and I think that's all I have on the. She's got the increase built in there as normal. So the 3%, yeah. The insurance is in there, $228,000 is what I had on page 5. 211, okay. You change that a little bit. Any questions about that so far? Okay.
Joined up.
Could we move on to page 7, please?
Can we go to page 6 real quick?
6.
The 16% increase on special risk. Drag that formula up right there from 1. Scroll up real quick to the top. You're at the top.
Special risk is.
Special risk is a $156,000 increase.
It went down because I took out the on-call.
Well,
It's an increase of 40,226.
and that may not be something, Commissioner, that you're used to seeing because we're the first ones to present this part to you today. Unless the sheriff, I don't know if they get down into the weeds on that, but all the other employees are on regular risk or some other form.
Okay, I see it now.
They're at 16, or excuse me, they're at 17%. But regular risk is high risk retirement, and it's at
That's fine.
38%.
Go back to 6.
So there's a higher rate for that because
Okay.
of the.
Mine wasn't matching, so I was trying to figure out.
So,
Thank you.
and that's actually going up from 35.79 to 38.19, so it's going up almost 3% on us. So, are we going to 7? Page 7 is the operating. So PEMT, what is that? Some paramedic EMT. You know, it's a cool name, but what it means is it's a state program that the state realizes that Medicaid transportation, in other words, we go to a 911 call, we take somebody to the hospital, they realize that money's not enough. So they have a program that you have to sign up for, and we've been a part of this since 2020. Last year, it brought in, I've got the sheet here, I'm sorry, I don't have it in front of me. Apologize. But the program, essentially, the way the government works, and the commissioners can vouch, this was happened before, you have to send a check to Tallahassee, and they turn around and send you a check back for more money. So last year, it was in October of 2024, we received $269,943, but we had to send $118,000 to the state. So that's what the 120 represents, the money we have to send to the state. There's a company called PCG, and you'll see them up for contract renewal tonight. they do a percentage of 12%. I actually negotiated that. It was a 15% initially, and I negotiated them down. Us being a fiscally constrained county, they agreed to go to 12, and tonight's just a renewal for that. But they take 12% of what we get. So the net actually was $132,000 back to the county by participating in this program for this last year. So that's additional revenue that comes in, and you recognize that, and we've had it every year since 2020. So let me get back to my page. So that's the 120, no change there. Other contractual is our Elevos. I'm just trying to true this up to what we're actually spending. We spent $60,000. Elevos is our EMS billing company. They get 4.5% of whatever they bill. Okay. As I showed, I believe I sent it to you. We're actually up 14% in revenue over last year at this time in EMS transports. We're up about 7% in transports. And what I mean by transport, that's 911 and any interfacilities. We're up 13 to 14% in revenue. So as they collect more money for us, that 4.5% back that they get is going to be up. So we have to capture that in the. So we were already at 60,000, and I just moved that on up to 80 because that's where it's going to be in another 3 months, because this was done last month. I tried to balance things out about where we were moving money, using money. As you see, I dropped the travel a little bit. I brought the communications up a little bit just to reflect. Everything's kind of reflected. Some are down and some are up, just based on what we've been spending. So trying to get closer to what we are. Like vehicles, we had 35 in there for last year. We've already spent 51 on things breaking with vehicles, so brought it up to 50. I don't expect it to be that high this year, but I did want to kind of balance it out. So the true net, if you look through all these changes, the true net is $40,600, and $38,000 of that is Elevos, which is our billing company part. So really the net for the operational side on page 7 is only $2,600 difference. So,
But what you're saying, if we spending the extra 38, that means we're making more money.
yes, sir.
That means we're collecting more of the money for the
Collecting,
services we
right.
provided.
Yeah.
Yes,
Which is what you want.
I had a sheet here. I was sorry. Normally I have them a little bit better than this. Right now,
We're providing them
we're,
either way.
we're
It's just getting more money back.
Yes, we're providing the service. one
Either
or the other.
way,
It's just
yeah.
The collections are greater for the services that we're providing, so it's,
Right.
because we're collecting more, we're having to pay the billing company
More. That's right.
right. Last year, 2024 fiscal year, we brought in $961,000. Cheryl estimated that we would only bring in $875, so that was actually over what we had projected for revenue. So we were almost $100,000 over. To date, we have 10 months we've collected. We are already at $856,000. So we have almost hit our revenue number, and we still have 2 months to go. If you predict that the rest of the year, we're up to a little over $1,027,000. So, and that's not counting the fee increase that you agreed to a couple months ago. That takes about three months to get through the insurance system by the time we start seeing that come back to us. So, but we should start seeing maybe around 1.1, 1.2 coming in for 911 transports. So.
What is the industry, what are we collecting as a percentage of bills?
Approximately 58 to 60% before the write-offs, and around 83 to 84%. Because obviously, when we send the bill to Medicare or Medicaid, they say you can't collect that. You have to take our lesser rate. And then unfortunately, there are some people that don't pay their bill. Like this last month, they had about $100,000 over several months of bad debt that we weren't able to collect. They send out about 3 bills to the folks, and then they put it in a file waiting to go to collection. We may not get any of it, but that is part of the. But once all that's done, we get about 80 to 82%, somewhere in there.
But if they're billing Medicaid and things like that, don't they know what those acceptable rates and things are from the onset to know what to bill them?
Yes, sir, I believe so, but I just noticed that it says contractual and they take a percentage off. I'm not sure of the circumstances, and I'll be honest, I don't understand how that works.
That's fine, but I
Deep
guess
enough.
my point I'm wanting to try to get to is for what is allowable to be billed.
Right.
Allowable to be billed, when we bill them, we're collecting almost 80% of what's
Oh.
being billed of acceptable charges.
Yes,
I mean,
sir.
it doesn't matter if you bill Medicare for $2,000, if the acceptable rate's $600, you've wasted a bunch of time and delayed things and things, and so that
Yes, sir.
extra money doesn't matter. It's what was billed, what is allowable expenses billed, and of those allowable expenses, you're telling me that we're collecting about 80%?
About 82 to 84%, that's right.
And what is the industry standard?
We're above the industry standard. I believe it's about 75% from what the last time I checked on that. Yes, sir. And I believe that most of the most of the companies that I don't know much about the billing side as far as to get into the depths of that, but I've talked to some others and they seem to be pretty good at what they do. So the last page I have is the capital, which would be page 9. So lease payment, and I think we're wrong. Okay, mine said 4 or 5. Okay, I grabbed the wrong picture. Okay, so right now the top one is an ambulance that's being built. We know it's going to take another year probably to get that. We were there in Houston this last week for the build and to work on that, and they said it was going to probably be next August before we saw it, because we just are in line for that. And that's a nationwide, no matter what ambulance company, fire truck company, they're all behind. So that's in place. That was $375,000 that we budgeted, and that'll be year 2 of that. Lease payment number 2 or line 2.
So, make sure I understand, we're already in a 5-year lease and we still don't even have the vehicle yet, so our lease payments, the 5-year lease includes the build time?
I call it a lease. I don't know if that's how
Well,
she's
it's
got it.
labeled up here as lease payment for R50, I just understand.
She's making payments, is what she said. Yes, sir.
So before we get the vehicle,
Yeah, you gotta put down the money. Remember, we talked about this, so he could get the particular engine and everything, we had to put down the money with that contractor.
Right, but, so that's, I can understand putting a down payment
Yeah.
down. But are we doing leases on these equipment, or are we purchasing the
We're
equipment?
purchasing.
We're
sorry.
purchasing, and I apologize.
So this is not a lease payment,
So
it's
it's
a
just a-
down payment.
Right.
Okay, so it's a down payment on this, not a lease payment. And we had to make the down payment to get it ordered,
That's correct.
Right.
but we don't start actual purchase payments until we receive it.
Right.
Or it doesn't matter if we start paying now one way or the other, we're
Right.
paying for the purchase of it.
That's
We're not
right.
paying for the
For the
lease
lease.
while it's still being manufactured.
Right.
Okay.
Yes, sir. I apologize for that.
Is that the same thing with number 2?
Yes, sir. And that one's, we've had that one for about 3 years. It's been here, and this is the last year of that 5-year payment on that. And
So
as you
it's
can
not
tell,
big
the
deal.
difference in how
This-
much things have went up, and from the year 2 of 5 to year 5 of 5. In 3 years, it's went up 30,000 a year. So 150 grand. That's a lot of money, but we saw some $600,000 ambulances while we were out there, so it was crazy. The number 3 is a slight increase. Normally, we ask for $10,000 for EMS matching grant. We would need to start thinking about replacing our LifePack monitors. They're over 10 years old. We're starting to have some issues with them. We had a blood pressure monitor that went out this year that cost us some repairs. We can get a grant for 10% of that. It would be for 4 monitors. They're about $50,000 or $60,000 each. So if we get a 10% match grant, a $250,000 grant, we would have a 25% match, or $25,000 match, which would be 10%. So we would not totally get rid of our older monitors, what we would try to do is utilize them in a better capacity, say, take our new engines that are coming in and make them ALS engines. So when we have a paramedic on there, if the rescue's on a call, then they have a monitor that they could use. Right now, they have to use an AED, so they can just do basic, defibrillation. But we could take the other monitor off when we get the new ones in, put them off the rescue and put them on the engine, and then that way we could utilize that, and we'd still have a spare to use.
So to replace it would be 250,000.
Yes,
Is that
sir.
correct?
Yes.
Would we have to budget for the 250 or just the 25?
Just to 25, pending the grant. You can always do a budget amendment during the year if we get awarded the grant.
Yeah.
It's what we normally do.
This year we were able to do the ventilators.
I
and
thought
it
that was the same thing that just happened with Ladonna. With
Well, we have to pay for that without.
and then
We gotta
get
have it either
reimbursed.
way.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
That's a
Yeah,
difference.
that's an update we've
Gotcha.
got to do.
This is just
If we
pending.
don't get it, we just won't spend it.
Okay.
Right. And then the last thing I have is,
But
I'm
to
sorry.
follow up on what you were saying, if we're making an application and we get a grant, before we approve the grant, or at the same meeting, we need to approve a budget amendment to show
Right,
that
yeah.
we received it when we're doing this
Mhm.
Yes,
as well. So that way, the budget is in line with it. Because
Right.
in the past, we're not always doing that, and you have to come back at the very end of the year to reconciliation. So from this point on, to ensure when we get a grant, we will make sure we have the budget amendment done at the same time.
Sure. Okay.
Yes, sir. And the next to last thing, replace office furniture. I say office furniture. It could be a desk, it could be a recliner, it could be a mattress or something that we need to replace over a year. It's, when you have people live somewhere 24/7, something's bound to break. Obviously, if it's something, we try to warranty it if it's still in a warranty, but when you got 9 people every day sleeping in a bed, eventually one's going to wear out, so we like to put a little money there. And the last thing that I have lease payment, I should have put payment. So I'm going to bring Chief Blanton up, and he's going to talk about this last item because I think it's very near and dear to his heart, and I think it's very, very opportune for him to speak of. So thank you for your time and allowing me to present.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Chief.
Yes, sir.
This last item that's in the budget is something that I just kind of recognized within our system, but we have a volunteer who works for us, Bill Primo, been volunteering for the county for 20 years, I guess, and he is our fleet and vehicle maintenance man, and he 24/7 has a service truck that he carries all kinds of tools. It's a heavy duty, it's a 450 truck with a work box on it. It's 21 years old. It's got that old 6-liter power stroke motor that we've already put all kinds of injectors and things on. It has run its course, and the man needs a new service truck, and that's where it's at. We got a quote from Duval Ford for a comparable truck with a work box and the equipment that goes on it. I was kind of floored that it came back around $120,000 or $30,000, but I think nowadays a 3/4 ton pickup truck's $80,000. It's not a King Ranch, it's just a base model, white, whatever, but that's where that is. And maybe when this is over with, we might be able to get it at a little cheaper price as far as, dealer to dealer or whatever that kind of thing is. But that's where it is, that's the total thing, and we're just trying to keep him in a service truck that's somewhat built in this last decade that's dependable, and that's the whole ball of wax.
And that's how much?
100 and,
Got 27
Am I
on
not
there.
seeing it
That's
here?
a lease payment?
it's
Or a
20,
payment?
yeah, it's 27.9 times 4, so it's about $135,000
So
$135,000
it's
cost.
$27,900 per year,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
full payment.
Say lease
Right.
payment.
And look, I'll be honest with you, I hope that we can get this thing for a few dollars cheaper than that before it's over with. But
Probably not.
I know you're not looking too familiar there on Tyler. It's just-
We bought some service trucks not too long ago, and that's
is that comparable?
right. Yeah, that's very close. I would say for a service truck,
Yeah.
Oh, is it outfitted with a crane too, or not?
He doesn't have a crane, but he carries the 20-ton jacks, the big tires, and the mounted wheels on board,
Yeah.
and all that stuff on the truck for us. And he saved us a pile of time.
Hmm.
The only thing that we're putting on it that's different from the one we currently have is something that we're going to experiment with. We're going to put a winch on the front of it, and because in the course of a year, you wouldn't believe how many times there's a rescue unit slid off in a ditch or in a driveway of a house somewhere. And the towing companies get a premium price for pulling out trucks of that nature. And if we can do that in-house, we're not in the recovery business, but for that light duty haul, you'll see where I'm at with that. So that's the whole deal.
Get stuck in somebody's front yard.
I pulled them out of my front yard before. I mean, don't disagree. And I think that is about right with the service truck. I mean,
Okay.
that's if you can get it cheaper, good. But
We want to, I promise
Yeah.
you. I don't know, it just seems like everything's expensive anymore.
oh, it's all expensive.
What would you do with the old vehicle?
Don't know yet.
Surplus.
I would guess we'd surplus it would be my guess. I don't have offhand some secondary use for it. I don't know.
We don't need to keep it in our fleet.
Probably just going to be an expense if you want to know the
It's
truth.
expense. If you keep it, we need to surplus it.
Yeah.
21 years old, we don't need vehicles 21 years
I
old in our
understand.
fleet.
Well,
Back up for replacement again.
Exactly.
Just get rid of them things.
yeah. Well, I don't have some creative use for it, to be honest with you. So
Say
anyway.
surplus.
Okay.
I have a question back on the request is for 3 new relief positions.
I'm not going to ask that.
And it said we would save the overtime. Do we show anywhere here where the overtime amount is going to be saved if we was to do the 3 relief positions?
Didn't you show that on that one line, Trevor? Did you hear that?
I'm looking at the spreadsheet. If you did, I'm not sure where it's at. That's what I'm asking.
Okay. While he's looking that up, I asked him to run those numbers in the office while him and Cheryl are looking that up on the board. But it cost us about $300,000 a year, a little more than $300,000 a year, to keep those 9 people a day on duty. And I know it's a weird concept, but in the world that we're at, if you have 9 budgeted spots, that means there's not got to be 9 people in seats every day. And unlike somebody at a department store, if somebody calls in sick, they just short that day. But for us, it's a mandatory hire. Somebody has to be put in that spot, whether it's a part-time, an overtime, it's a somebody. So when you think about the fact that you're still paying somebody that's on an approved sick leave, military leave, vacation day, and you're paying the salary for the replacer that's replacing that, that's why that number's what it is, and that's why this relief person came in actually a little bit under the cost of what we're spending. It's going to be close to a wash. I asked him when we did the numbers, I said, look, let's do this. I said, instead of going back for the last 12 months on this, I said, let's go back all the way to 23. Because in 23, we didn't have anybody on military to my knowledge. We had a very limited military, but I didn't want 1 year of heightened military numbers to skew your data. I've got all 3 years in my book, month by month by month, and it varies between 28 days a month to 34 days a month for a 2.5 year span. And that's just the normal, that having that many, you got 9 people on duty a day and somebody be on some sort of a leave, that's where that is. So I know it sounds good that we might get lucky that once or twice a month we may have an extra person where a supervisor can do some supervisory office functions, and we hope to do that. But truth of the matter is, almost every day there's going to be somebody covering in some position somewhere to put us back at level. But there's another part to this that hasn't been mentioned. In our world, and I guess it matters, I guess probably every world you work, it's one thing to be hired overtime that you put in for some extra days to make some extra money. People like making overtime when they volunteer to work overtime, but people hate to work overtime when you call them up and say, look, I know you were fixing to leave work about 30 minutes ago and there's a T-ball game, but you're staying, put your uniform back on. And the ability to have that extra person at almost a wash of a cost that's going to allow us as the bosses not to call down there and tell somebody, look, you've got to stay a mandatory extra day. That's kind of a big deal. It's a morale thing. And I know that doesn't equate to numbers, but it equates to employees smiling, and that's where it's at. So I don't know if that's worth anything.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
And I was just saying it was a trade-off of what numbers were in here from last year. Last year, we had $88,000 worth of plus benefits in the EMS budget that she took away a while ago. And it would have been probably over $100,000 based on the, right. So it was, whatever that amount is on the left, that was annual, $116,000. Plus the benefits, the FICA and FRS, which is 38%, and then taking $65,000 from the fire budget that was set up the same way, and then $50,000 of our $105,000 of overtime that we had put in the budget from last year. So that's over $300,000 right there. So one way or the other, we're already paying for them. Rather have the people here paid and not having to depend on mandatory or overtime, and then have some more dependable folks versus having to call up 4 or 5 on calls and saying, hey, who can work today? And you get 1 day a month out of them, or 1 day every 3 months out of them. So it's frustrating for our lieutenants and stuff whenever somebody, especially when they have a call out. We have to send out a list every day of who's standing by on mandatory. And you know, for the whole week, that guy's probably hoping and praying that nobody gets sick. You know, because that's normally probably when the guys got tickets to go to the concert or the kid's birthday, or you get the point. If we have a person there extra every day, I say extra, that we know we're probably going to use somewhere in one of our 3 stations in some capacity, then it would get rid of that problem for sure. So, and reduce the amount of overtime we're actually spending. So, because
and people's morale. And you be mandatory overtime is not a good thing.
Right, and I heard,
Been there, done that.
yes,
The
sir.
thing is, you're saying, if I'm gonna clarify, which I've been doing all day,
Yes,
for
sir.
my benefit,
Yes, sir.
because I'm an old man.
Yes, sir.
Take away the overtime, except for the $50,000.
Yes.
Take away all of the on-call stuff that you have, because you're paying $116,000.
Right.
And plus the benefits on top of that is around $300,000.
Right.
To add what you're talking about
Right.
is going to add $300,000. So
Right.
basically, we're just swapping. Basically, what Commissioner Bennett was saying earlier with the road department, if we can hire people to alleviate that overtime and the on-call and the people that you're having to use part-time,
Yeah.
and it's balancing, the
Right.
cost is not exceeding what you've already paying, it
Right.
only makes sense, especially with the employee morale.
Right. And I did misspeak. The on-calls did not have any benefits, but they still have FICA.
Right.
And the same with the ones that were assigned to fire. They don't have FRS, but they do
Yeah,
have FICA.
they have FICA.
So, you know, we're at that $300,000 mark. I kind of did some rough math before I did this in here. So, and the other thing, I'll say this: the road department, you know, they came back and their union dissolved, and that means I'll tell you what that means. We hadn't had a contract in fire rescue for 5 years. What that means is you're taking good care of the folks, and they don't see the need to push that, and obviously, definitely in the road department. So they feel like they're being taken care of, and this is just another step towards that, I believe. Getting rid of Mando is a 5-letter word, honestly, and they kind of make jokes about it in the fire service, but it's really an ugly word, and nobody likes it. Nobody wants to be told, hey, you gotta stay. They get it if there's something burning or there's a bad wreck, that's part of the job. We're just talking about, hey, I wasn't planning to be here today and now I gotta stay. It breaks my heart, honestly, so.
I'm not disagreeing with anything that you said. What I'm wanting to see is the actual numbers. Here's what, if we keep doing what we're doing, here's the numbers and how I come up with these numbers.
Yes, sir.
And if we go to this by and 3, here's the total numbers, not estimates, not speculation on what it is.
Yes, sir.
Here's what it is if we continue what we're doing, given the average number of 30, 32, whatever it is, with showing that. Here's what it would be if we continue to do with the on-call services.
Yes, sir.
Versus here's what the fully loaded amount is for 3 new ones.
Yes, sir.
Just 2 easy columns, tell us what they are to show. What's the difference there?
Yes, sir.
I get the overtime. I got an entire crew that runs cranes, operates them cranes, and when labor says that we're going to stay and work late tonight, they have to stay. They
Yes.
have to work weekends. It's the same thing. It may not be life rescue, but it's operate. I get it.
Yes,
Got
sir.
35 of them. That's the same thing. And making them stay overtime when they didn't plan, making them work weekends when it wasn't planned, it is a challenge for morale. I
Yes.
get all of that. I want to see the numbers.
Yes, sir.
With what the true numbers are, of what's been happening, of what is proposed to happen.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. I can provide that. I'll just provide that to Sarah, and then we'll get that back to you. Cheryl can help me with that. So, thank you for, again, the ability to
Chief,
speak.
does this budget or is another budget area proposed the completion of the staffing at Sanderson?
The fire budget that Chief Blanton's fixing to present.
Okay.
He's got that in there. Yes, sir.
Okay.
This was just rescue, right?
Yes, sir. This was just rescue. Yes, sir.
Well, it's all hand in hand, but I got
Yes,
you.
sir.
Okay.
So, thank you.
Thank you. Can you show,
your emails for
Miss,
Firewise?
can you show me the balance sheet again now that we've had our discussion? 'Cause I see where you,
Bulldog.
no, I would never do that.
Go on Firewise just to make sure you got them.
So we're at 427, 407. I thought you deleted a bunch of stuff a while ago.
That was the one that presented.
We don't have the Firewise.
It's in your
Yes.
email, Commissioner.
That's the one. That's the one I wanted to see.
Hey, that looks
Till the
better.
number changed. 248. Thank you, ma'am. Okay, we're going into item number, any other questions on that rescue? If not, we'll go into Firewise.
Okay. Most years, the Firewise budget, as y'all know, is pretty flat from year to year because it's a limited amount of money and it does a limited amount of things and it's a restricted account. This year's a little different, and you'll see where it looks like there's a huge amount of increase on expense. But in reality, what happened, I have a letter here before we get deep into this, but I have a letter here that we received from the federal government, from the USDA, and it's
Explain to the 2 new ones and to the public that this was a restricted account.
yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, good call. Y'all know we have these funds they call Title II funds, Title III funds. It all comes from the area that the National Forest owns. We cannot get tax revenue from homes and things of that nature. So money that is made from the selling of timber in the forest comes to the county in a couple of different versions that are restricted to be used in certain ways. And we get a small portion of that, and the portion we get referred to as the Title III funds. And the Firewise budget has always come out of the Title III funds. Now it has a much broader, although it's restricted, it has a little broader, a much broader spectrum of what you can spend with those monies, but you have to be able to prove that that money is used for, and I've got about a 6-page document here from the federal government that tells you everything from what equipment, what truck repairs, what training, what services, whatever, and it all has something that can be related to a response that could take place in one of those forests. And if you have a lake in the forest and you needed a boat, or if you had a pipeline and you needed to have a response for the pipeline or anything like that, those are what those restricted things are. They won't let you build a fire station. They won't let you, hire a bunch of extra people down the road or whatever. It's but within that guideline, that's where we are. So you're going to see, and I'm going to read the list here in just a minute of things that we are proposing to purchase because we received a letter that told us that I have to assume this is part of that Doge movement that's happening in Washington. They sent us a letter that says you currently have X number of dollars in your funds or in your accounts, and you have to expend those by September the 29th, I believe it is, of next year, or the county will have to write a check back to the federal government and send the money back. I think I'm like y'all, that's money that is our money in lieu of ad valorem taxes on houses that can't be built in an area like that. We have sat down and we have looked at all the different areas of things that you'd love to have for a response situation, but you may not have the funds to buy it. It's a one-time deal, and when this is over, it's over. Does this mean that in next year or the year after, we may look at you and say the Firewise is no more? Not at the point to say that yet. Don't know. Still foggy. But this is about the third different federal type program in the last month that we've received some sort of notice for. I was on a Teams meeting 2 hours ago with all the North Florida counties for an urban area security initiative that involves all the North Florida counties, and the same thing happened. And we got a 9:30 yesterday call to say, get together and here's $3.5 million for these counties, and it's got to be spent and better have us a quote by Friday. Our share of that $3 million is about this much compared to our neighbors, but nonetheless, that's kind of the season we're in right now, and the federal government's making some changes. So I'll get into that in a minute, but that's why you see some big number changes. That being said, this money is sitting in the account. We're not asking you to budget money we don't have. We have these funds. It's just a matter of allocating those funds for equipment and things of that nature. So, go ahead.
And I want to be clear, this is a restricted fund that we already have the money.
Correct.
We just are going to spend it, and so it's really not costing us anything. It's already been collected. We already have it. We just need to make sure that we put it in the budget, so you have budget authority to be able to spend it. But it's not coming from general revenues. It can only go for certain things, and so it just would make a bit of sense not to allocate the funds and spend them rather than paying them back.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
That's where we are.
Sweet.
So, page 1 obviously has our overall numbers for the account. And like I said, the biggest change that you see is that.
So to clarify, on this front page, it's 110,940,000. Is that how much funds we got to do, or is this other things that go along with it? Operating
The funds
expenses?
you're going to see when we get deeper into the budget, it's about $130,000. It's actually about $145,000.
And that closes out
145,784.
Right.
Should be the request.
Okay.
Right.
Yes.
So the total amount that we're going to spend that's restricted, that can only go to this, is the 145,784.
That's correct.
That covers all of this.
Yes, sir.
We can go through it if you want to. From my standpoint, it's restricted. It can only go to this.
Right.
It's not hurting anything else. It's not balancing the budget anywhere else. It's money that we've got. We got to spend it. We can spend time going through it.
Okay.
Can you abbreviated what we're buying?
Yes, sir.
145
Yes,
real
sir.
quickly?
So no changes on staffing,
Yeah.
$5,000 stipend times 2. We have 2 people that handle that, and
Mhm.
capital equipment.
Right.
This training.
And training.
There's training, there's some truck maintenance, there's an ATV unit for off-road. We had a rescue 3 hours ago. We had to go 2 miles in the woods and get somebody for events of that nature. It's hose and equipment, it's training, forestry equipment, and we're actually going to receive some training in a lot of different technical aspects of stuff from that involve the forest and heavy equipment. And it's things, honestly, we'll probably would never have the money to do it any other time, and we're taking advantage of it.
If Firewise goes away next year,
Yes, sir.
this is equipment we can use in the fire department forever.
Absolutely.
So it don't go away with the Firewise.
Absolutely.
Okay.
That's
all
and just a point, not to drag things out, but Cheryl and I had a conversation, gosh, it's probably going back 2 years ago, that, people watch this stuff and what we do, and we crafted a letter and sent her a letter saying that these list of items, when we purchase these things or repair these things, go to this, as opposed to, in normal sense, you would think this is assigned to truck number 6, but in reality, it meets this restricted, it can come from that fund. So, because we know, you never know when somebody's gonna come back and look at your books and say, hey, you know, why did you spend this, whatever, for chainsaws? Well, it qualifies.
Yeah.
So, anyway.
Which makes sense.
Yes, sir.
And the 2 employees just getting the stipend, $5,000 each. If Firewise goes away, that will just
That'll
be
sunset.
absorbed back in our budget.
That'll sunset, yes, sir.
Okay. Any other questions on Firewise? You can move on. It's not needing beating a dead horse to death. We got the money. Let's spend it, because we don't want to lose it.
Just wanna show you we do.
Thank you. We'll move on to our next one, which is fire rescue.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's 2,700. There we go. This is our big one this year as far as when it comes to increases. You can see in the bottom line on page 1, the 2,279,283. 283. It's about a 41% increase, which is a ton.
The board to your right. You're in the 5% cheap. She got 3%
Yeah,
on
I'm
the
at the
board.
3%.
3% raises versus 5%.
Oh, I got, I'm
raises.
sorry, I'm
Yeah.
sorry, I'm sorry. Apologize about that. Okay. Page 3 is probably the page that I'm assuming you're going to want to get to and discuss. Commissioner Mann wanted to talk about anything that was new or coming up that we had proposed about that one increase. Everything else in there are existing salaries, with the exception of a 3 or 5% raise that y'all are going to be looking at. Okay, at that bottom of page 3, there's two positions that we are asking for Sanderson. That'd be for a shift and a B shift, and there's a third position that currently is an 8-hour person that we want to upgrade from an 8-hour to a 24-hour, so that would be the C shift person. The cost there is $54,000, and $19,000 is the cost on that. And the last item in that new position that we are asking for is we applied back. It went in, the deadline was the 1st of July, so we put our stuff in just to the end of June for the SAFER position. And the way SAFER works, and y'all know there's a percentage there. We would pay if we're awarded that, if it came back in, which will be this fall. If they called us and said you've been awarded, then we'd have to obviously come back to you for approval for that. 25% match the first year, 25% match the second year, and a 65% match the third year is where that's at.
And Chief, for anybody who may be listening, how many positions was that total?
That would be 2 people a day times 3 shifts, 6 people total.
And one would be EMT and one would be paramedic. Every day.
Obviously, the next pages after that are discussing all the insurance that we've been talking about with the rest of the departments around the county. Fire budget's just like the EMS budget, it's high risk. Hate to tell you those numbers, but it's just where we are with that. When we get into page 6, that's more of that same cost, about the cost of the employees, the overtime. Y'all know as we switched the salaries, we went from the the 40 to the 56. We're reducing a bunch of overtime. And I know that's something we covered about a month ago as far as that goes.
Will the 3 new positions, potential positions, offset some of the overtime?
No, they will
No,
not.
not at all.
The relief positions are to offset overtime. And just for the record, whether we get
Gotcha.
7 a day or 10 a day or 20 a day, those relief positions are considered one person more than what our daily minimum is to allow for somebody to be off every day.
Okay.
And just based upon the size of the department, some departments, depending on staff, may have 10 relief people a day, and some departments may have 20 relief people a day, depending on how big the department is. But you don't understand that. And as far as the Kyler Safer goes, our plan for that is if the federal government decides to award us that, and we don't know, maybe a few more months, if they decide to award us that, our plan would be to have an engine in our rescue unit there. They would be dual certified, fire paramedics and fire EMTs, and based on the call type, they could take what's the most appropriate vehicle to that call to help us with our rescue numbers as far as status 0 in the county, and it also helps us with having some fire protection on the north end of the county.
I do have a question on that. It's back on the page 3.
Yes, sir.
I see you got the Sanderson shift A, Sanderson shift B, new one for Sanderson shifts, position C.
Yes, sir.
But then there's also the Kyler Safer, and it's $101,500, right?
Yes, sir.
And you indicated that is a 25% match.
Yes, sir.
So what we're saying is then 3 positions is going to cost us $400,000 that year?
It's going to cost, well, pretty close.
For 3 positions? But it's 2 people a day for 3 shifts,
6 people.
right?
Right, right,
It's 6 people in total.
6
2 people
people.
a day for 3 shifts.
right.
One paramedic and 1 EMT.
Both will be firefighters, and at bare minimum, one will be an EMT, one will be a paramedic, and there's a good chance they might both be paramedics.
So you'd have 1 per shift. 1 in the day, 1 in the
They're saying
night.
No, sir.
66.
It's a 24-hour shift. Be 2 people, 24 hours a day.
Okay, I understand that. And the
At a
other
$66,000
150
rate.
And proposed salary would be for 6 people
That's correct.
per match and not 4.
Right.
I was concerned saying if that's only 4 people. then-
That's right.
No. We're getting more people for the dollar for that.
And when that grant goes away, we pick up the total.
Yes, sir. In year 4, then that would be on us to own that.
We pay 25% the first year. How much the second year?
25%.
25% the first year. It increases the second year, because Safer's for 3 years, right?
It's 25, 25, and 65, and
Okay.
then we go to 100.
Okay. So it'd be 100,000 this year, 100,000 next, if we get it, 100,000 this year, 100,000 next year. After
221.
300,000. Then by year 4, we increase 400,000.
Right.
$260.
And that's without any increases in rates or anything else. That's just as of today's rates right now.
Yes, sir. I guess if there's any kind of bright star in all of this, we've kept our money in the bank for the building whenever the building gets ready. So it is still sitting there from the remodel project. So if there's a shining light there somewhere that we got some money for.
Well, I like the idea to have coverage for North
Yes, sir.
Baker County.
We got nervous about 2 hours ago. We got called that the building was on fire. And about the time y'all were talking to the Parks and Recreation Department, they got called and said it got struck by lightning and smoke was coming out of the building. So we had to stop what we were doing and run up there. But fortunately, I think it was a car driving by with some steam coming off the building. But we were nervous. We were going to stand before you and tell you we were starting over. So
anyway.
We have insurance for that, though.
Yes, sir, yes.
May not be a bad thing. We got an whole new building. Just saying. We can build it like we wanted it, yeah.
Not on that lot.
Moving on to the operational side of the things on page 7 on our cost. Our top item that was on here was a fire assessment study that we've talked about over the last few weeks. And what I don't know is, and Sarah, I'm going to lean on you on this one. I got the impression that maybe you might have had some money, yes or no, for. Is this something that I need to continue to ask for, or is this something that y'all may have factored somewhere else, or that was something I didn't understand.
On the park project?
For the assessment study money.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm not scrolled up enough. So yes, we have, no, I'm sorry, my brain is tired. On assessment study, no, that needs to stay in your budget,
Okay.
yes.
Okay.
We had that budget for last year too, didn't we?
No, I don't believe so, I think we got taken out in current
Yeah,
year.
we got it taken out.
Yeah.
We took it out the year prior
It's been in the last 3 years, but it was taken out last year.
because we didn't ever use it. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
And the
That's
year,
right.
2 years ago, it was part of it was used, we dropped it to 25,000 for the ISO consultant.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
The next item in there, I believe that's for the Tabor Park Engineering, correct, Trevor?
That was this year's expenses. There's nothing in there for next year.
Okay.
It's just something else.
Moving on, something y'all approved last year that's something new for us. Employee physicals. We went, like we told you last year, we used to have a standard physical that somebody would get if they went into a regular job. But we're trying to follow the model of our industry, and there's actually a firefighter physical. There's an FBA standard for that, and we have started that process. I go on vacation Friday, and my second day back is my day in the barrel to run on the treadmill and lift weights and hop and jump and everything. But I can't make the folks below me do it if I don't do it. That's just the way it is. So
You need to do it.
that's where that is.
What happens if they don't pass the physical?
What happens is
Same
that there's
question I asked.
a whole list of criteria from whether it's your blood work or your heart or your actual physical, whatever you do, and they have a guideline, and if you don't meet a guideline, then they flag that, and you're going to have to go to your personal physician, and your personal physician will be the one that is the final authority. Can you make it or not make it is what you do. It's new territory for us. It's a slippery slope because you got to be very careful, because you don't want to have a department that everybody makes it to the 15 or 20 year mark and then you flush them out. But at the same time, there's got to be something in place to keep everybody heading the right direction, because you got to be able to jump into windows and jump out of windows and jump onto trucks and pull people out of cars, and there's got to be a standard somewhere. And we did not, like a lot of small places, have anything as a baseline, and we needed to start somewhere, and this is the start. So. Moving down, the next item that probably has some money in there to talk about was we had $17,000, which is a lot of money. It's 106%. That's garage door issues. And unfortunately, we've had a pile of them. And we have tried to make it a point going forward that we replace a small amount of garage doors every year as they were. And instead of repair something multiple times, if it reaches the point that we know that we got to do something with it, that's what that's for. If you notice the budget from the previous years, we've had to make some adjustments there, and that's what it is. Garage doors in the old volunteer buildings don't go up and down very often, but in the buildings that are staffed, they refer to it, I guess, in the building as how many cycles a day the door goes up and down, and there's your repairs. So that's just one of those things that we have gotten into, but we haven't paid staff that's in and out all day.
Are we doing routine maintenance on them and inspections?
Well, most of them are, not to go back, we have a contract with a company that has gone to all the stations, and they have come several times in the last 2 years.
So probably that number would have been higher if we didn't have routine maintenance.
Yeah, I just didn't know if that's something y'all do or
Yes, sir.
we need to do, because that's.
We had the venue company out of Jacksonville doing those services for us, yes, sir.
Okay.
Another item in there that is, well, I say it's relatively new, this extinguisher maintenance, so it's not, it's been in there before. But that's the bulk of where we are as far as operational changes or needs. We were very fortunate, if you want to know the truth, we were very fortunate that some of the equipment and some of the things that we could use, we did our homework to see if it could fall into that dedicated restricted money that could fall into the right category and not have to come to you for money for something that can be used in the forest, but we still have the ability to use it at another means and not cost you anything. So that's helped us. The explanations on some of the vehicle issues and bigger items on page 9 to break some things down. Fire engine lease purchase, year 6 of 10, that's for the vehicles that got bought in 2019. That was 3 pumpers and a tanker. The $25,000 for bunker gear is an annual thing that we do every year. We try to replace 5 sets a year. Just maybe, we might be able to hold off on that in the years to come. Spent all day yesterday afternoon and again this morning for a couple hours on the phone with that surprise grant that came in from Duval County, and we have applied for enough gear with that grant, with the UOC money, that if that was to come through, that could set the department for several years in a row and eliminate that $5,000 a year. We'll see what happens, but it's favorable. $50,000 on line 3 is for the upstairs, the county match on the state appropriation that Chuck got us. Furniture for the Kyler Fire Station, we have $25,000 there. If the building was to get put there, the $25,000 personally, we put enough money to do it. It probably will only come in $15,000 or $20,000, but furniture was just, there's only so many words you can put in the line, but that's not only the furniture, but that's also would be your computers and your software, your shredders, your alarms and stuff that you have to have in the building. That's all falling in that category for the $25,000. Line number 5, appropriation match new engine 70, which is the one that we just got approved, and I think they're fixing to come.
Representative Brandon will be here tonight.
There he
Give us a
is.
Big check.
He has come through a lot for us. Down from that, line number 6, $7,500. That is to have a building put over the well, water softener, and equipment at the new fire station in Sanderson. That was not part of the original construction, and that stuff's too expensive to have sitting out in the weather. And the last item in there, the $26,000, we had some of our folks on staff go to all the buildings countywide, take a survey of all of them and find out what needed lights, what needed repairs to doors or bathrooms and et cetera. 2 of the fire stations actually double as voting precincts, and there's some things that we need to do to make those things a little nicer for the folks when it's voting day. So that $26,000 is actually of repairs is shared over about 7 or 8 different buildings. And I believe we're getting to the bulk of it. That's it. I think that's everything.
Any questions?
I do. For the SAFER grant, when will we know if we get the grant?
I believe they start announcing around August, and it goes through November is their time frame they always say. But most of the time, by about October, you start getting that notice you got it or you didn't get it. And that's a ballpark because each year kind of varies a little bit.
But typically we'll know by the end of the calendar year.
Oh, yes, sir.
So what is the advantage of budgeting for something now that we don't know if we're going to get or not, versus if we get it, come back and add it to the budget then because we have it?
We can do that.
So my thought is this, and why I asked the question, is it just, if it doesn't, but we've already applied for the grant, we know we got a match, we know we're gonna have to come up with the dollars.
Sure.
But my suggestion is to not include $100,000 for SAFER
Okay.
as a match, which takes off all those other expenses that go along with it, that takes that down. And we wouldn't be doing the mobile home station at Kyler unless we get it, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
That's another 25,000 out. If we get the SAFER grant, then we come back and we add and budget into it. What I look at right now is where we're at as of this moment. Where we're at as of this moment, right now, give me 10 seconds to get there. So far today, the increases over last year is already at 2.57 million. Our budget increases over last year. There's gonna have to be some really phenomenal revenues come in that's increased over last year for us to accommodate that. So I'm looking at ways to get our budget to balance.
Sure.
Understanding that if we get a grant, we're gonna figure out how to use the grant.
Yes, sir.
And do an amendment then. That would be my suggestion to help us back.
No, that's no problem on this end. No problem.
That's my suggestion. That's up to the board to, as a whole. But we clearly are not going to be able to fund everything that's been asked for today.
Sure.
And so that's, if we're putting something in there right now as a placeholder that we don't know if we're going to have it or not. I'm trying to balance it was
I have no problem with that.
Okay.
I agree.
Okay. Thank y'all for your time.
Thank you.
Okay.
So if that's the case, that's going to change that number.
Change it
Take out the-
343.
I took out the 101.
And also in the
Take out
capital,
$25,000
$25,000
into SAFER money.
Oh, well, look, come to. I'm gonna change mine.
Was that just for
That
there?
was for, we got that staff, yes.
The 26,000?
Yeah.
And let's make sure we got the
No,
same
no, no,
numbers.
no.
25,000.
Just two seconds to make sure we're on the
Another
same
one,
page.
line
Well, I'm
number
fixing to,
4.
this workshop will be at the end after this anyway,
There you go.
before we start.
Hey Cheryl, the money that's in there for this year's budget for the second floor project, that's cash carry forward, that's 50 grand from this year's budget. It's not spent.
Yeah, 463,875.
318, 892.
318,
So are we dealing with the 3% version or what?
3% version, yes.
Yes.
So what we talking about taking out of?
You took away the 101.
The salary list at the very bottom.
Yeah. And then you got to go take away the 25,000.
So you got 318.
To leave it there or here? I'll
No,
leave it
you
there.
didn't. Go from there.
That's why it didn't change. Leave it there. That's why it changes.
So go to capital.
Capital explanation right here and cover that 25,000.
So now go back to it.
Thank you.
Sure,
Probably
reflect
was
the
done.
new rate.
It's all right down in the
Yeah.
half.
I replaced it. I deleted it there and didn't carry it. Thank you.
I don't know what people think.
Are we good?
We want to try to do one more?
We're stopping. I gotta stretch my legs
Okay.
and
Thank you.
take a minute.
Take 15 minutes. That's all.
15 minutes ain't gonna hurt us to stretch out a little bit. We've been here since 9 o'clock.
Sure.
Is that it?
You're saving all these.
Yes, sir.
Could you send
Well, they're
the
still
link
talking,
to
so I don't wanna
everything
cut it
that's
out
updated?
until.
I think he was just asking a question
You
about how
want me
she's
to save
saving
it
it.
up first or?
Do what?
We're good.
Just do it.
Are we
Send it to me
off?
or approve it first?
I'm not off yet, but I was trying to wait for them to finish.
The adjustment column
Is
is.
David in there?
Oh, I don't care about all that.
Yes, David,
You ain't
if
gotta pretty it
listening,
up
you can
just
recess
after
this. We're
today.
just asking questions about how we're saving this document.
Because all of mine are
We're
read
gonna be in
only,
recess
and I would
for the
have to
budget
save them
workshop
all.
till 5 o'clock.
But if you're saving